What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. Tonight, we're talking the Acolyte season finale and House of the Dragon episode 5, and we'll be bringing on a special guest for that part, but we're probably going to start with the Acolyte. But before we get into all of that fun, Dave, Doug, how's it going, gentlemen?
Well, Keith, I'm glad you asked. I'm fan-freaking-tastic. I caught all the way up on House of the Dragon, and then I kind of took some time out to watch The Acolyte. And, well, there's one that I like more than the other. Can you guess what it is?
The Acolyte.
Oh, sorry. Keith, you lose. No.
You
no,
get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
You don't even get a copy of our home game. Just get out of here. But you know what? I've been chatting about this for so long before we even got on the air, and I'm just going to jump into it. So, Doug, how are you doing?
Well, Dave, let me tell you. I'm outstanding. Sorry, I just had to add in a delay to out-delay your delay.
Not fair.
But yeah, no, I'm doing pretty darn good. We actually got so we're only talking about the Acolyte, and we're only talking about House of the Dragon tonight. But boy, oh boy, do we have a lot of different things that are coming out. Not only that, but today aired the season finale of The Boys, and I cannot wait this Sunday to talk about that with you, gentlemen, because wow, that was something. Then we also got the premiere of Kite Man Hell Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which did you watch it?
No.
I watched the first episode. It existed. And then we also have, and we totally forgot about this. We talked about it a while ago, and we completely forgot about the Suicide Squad Isekai. That is the anime that is based off of DC characters, most of which are in the Suicide Squad. And it seems to be taking a little bit from both the Harley Quinn series as far as like how some of the characters act, and also taking a little bit from the unfortunate Air version of the Suicide Squad movie from, what was that, 2016?
Somewhere around there. Time means nothing to me.
Yeah, so they have like that style of Joker, and I don't know. I started watching it, but then unfortunately, you have to work and do other things, so I didn't get a chance to finish it. But I believe like 5 episodes of that are already out, so busy. And then next week, finally, we get Deadpool and Wolverine, and I think that is what I'm looking forward to the most. And I don't know if all of our fellow nerds out there realize this, but we're going to have a special guest with us.
We're having a special guest tonight to talk House of the Dragon, and a different special guest next Thursday for our At the Theater spoiler-free review of Deadpool and Wolverine. Excitement personified. I just want to say in the chat, KJ Richter just subscribed with Prime. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. 23 months. We appreciate all the support. Our fellow nerds mean everything to us. What, there was another one? Tall
guy did too, but it wasn't broadcast on there. That's not fair.
Tall guy, yeah. Thank you, tall guy. And yes, a special guest, Sierra. I think you know her. Her name's Sierra.
No relation.
Yeah, I don't know if you know her.
But
she's been on here a few times.
Yeah, she's been on with us every week talking Hot D.
Keith, while you tell us how you're doing, I will be right back.
Oh, you're too good to hear how I'm doing? I see how it is done.
Nope, gotta run.
But I am tremendous. Looking forward to this discussion tonight. Did watch The Boys season finale today, and it was, as Doug said, loved every minute of it. It was like a Loverboy song, man. Loving every minute of it. I didn't see Kite Man yet. Didn't have time for that. And Doug forgot to mention one other thing that's coming out August 1st. Batman the Caped Crusader. The new Batman animated series on Prime is coming out. So I'm hoping that is, pretty good too.
Is Kevin Conroy's last line on that show?
No, his last line is on Crisis on Justice League, Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3.
Because I've been seeing a lot of shorts for that lately, and it's like, it's emotional for some people. He was Batman for what, 30? How long?
Probably 30 some years, yeah.
Yeah. That's too bad, man.
Yeah.
Not bad, man.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we got to wait for Doug to start this discussion here.
Yeah. I don't know what the heck he thinks this is.
The Acolyte.
Which I definitely wasn't as angry as you about it. Disappointed. Like, it wasn't so bad it made me angry. But man, did it fall short of what it could have been.
It started off okay, and it just steadily went downhill all season. Like half a point each show type of thing, This one's gonna rate like pretty low on my scale. I'm not gonna tell you yet, but I think it's steadily decreased all season, and this was just like the worst of it. If you had, I guess we're just gonna go ahead and get into it. If you had moved that second to last episode up in the season, you might have had a little more momentum going into this episode. You know what I mean? It would have felt like, all right, they're building towards something. But no, it's just like they tripped over something on their way out the door, and they smashed their face on the door on the way out.
And it's like Doug said quite a bit about Arrow doing the flashbacks, where the flashbacks would tie into kind of what's going on now. If episode 7's flashback could have tied into what was kind of happening now, but you're right, man, momentum came to a complete halt in episode 7. Episode 8, while I didn't hate it, have some problems with it. I mean, I thought the lightsaber battle was pretty well choreographed. I enjoyed it. But still, like, a lot of mistakes, in my opinion, with choices made and how they had characters be and end up at the end. Just overall, they took a lot of interesting ideas and made them pretty uninteresting. Like, honestly, I could care less about the twins. Like, that is the most uninteresting storyline I've ever seen in a Star Wars show. Even
I think that's how everybody felt, though, because they kept touting this as it was going to be, originally when they first dropped it, and they said it's the Acolyte, and we're going to finally explore, more Sith side of things. And I mean, that's what we were all told, right? And I would have been hyped for something like that if they would have said, oh yeah, we're going to have an entire series, and it's pretty much going to be heavily focused on the Sith. You might get a few Jedi here and there. Okay, yeah, that sounds pretty darn cool. But then, yeah, Keith, you're right. We had to do this weird twin virgins storyline, and it kind of took away from what this could be. Instead of spending time exploring and doing some world building and character development of like the Jedi and the Sith during the High Republic, instead we've got to do this, whatever this was.
Well, and the one thing, not to jump to the end, but speaking of the twins and them being, one separated by a
not
virgins,
twins.
Why did one of them, not train? I know that May ended up not, killing a Jedi without a weapon. It was Osha, so he took her on. But honestly, if I was that dude, I'm like, whoa, wait, you guys were created with the Force, and you're basically the same person, and this virgin did the same. You know what? We're going to be a team, all three of us.
Rule of two.
But he always said, I don't care about rules. I don't want to be ruled by what the Jedi think I should do. And if he really is, we've talked about it.
No,
never...
Keith, what you don't understand, that was a different episode. This is a new episode. So that doesn't matter anymore. This is a new episode. You're thinking of the previous episode where he didn't care about rules. There's rules now.
And the fact that they played the Kylo Ren theme quite a bit during this with Quimir on there, kind of hinting that he was going to be the first knight of the Wrens who doesn't have rule of two, why wouldn't he bring both sisters with him? They were both obviously pretty strong in the Force. Obviously, Osha broke through her mental block and is stronger, maybe, even though they're the same person, so I don't know how that really works. But I was like, he should have taken both of them. That would have been much more interesting to me if they got a second season. And if they do, please, new showrunners, new writer room, switch it all up. We don't need these people back, quite honestly. I hate to say it. I'm not trying to be mean. You guys know I like to. But this, overall, was a disappointing series. You know, I didn't connect at all with the core story that they told. There was other things about it that I was like, I'd like to hear more about that. But the core tale they told was pretty lackluster.
So, did I tell you, gentlemen, that I took extensive notes of this episode?
You did mention
Let's
that,
hear it.
yes.
Yeah. Do you know when what makes me do something like that, get like that detail? Usually when I watch something, I'm pretty good at remembering the points that I think are worth mentioning. But when I watch something that's like especially egregious to me, that's when I have to break out the notebook. And that's when I'm like, okay, I need to break this down there in like every detail because there are several issues wrong with this. And while on one hand, I will agree with you, there are a few cool moments in this, and I did make a note of that too. Overall, this episode did not work for me at all.
Okay. Let's hear your details.
I think he's doing a
So-
dramatic pause.
On the plus side of things, I do like how it opens. I like how all you hear is the breathing. That was cool. I like that. It kind of reminds me of, obviously, and I'm assuming they're doing this on purpose, Darth Vader or Kylo Ren when he wore his mask. Going back to what you said, Keith, where you think that perhaps Chimere is like the progenitor of the Knights of Ren, and that could be. They haven't said one way or the other. I don't know. He didn't. He kind of implied that maybe he might not, possibly, almost maybe might not be a Sith, but again, they were not specific about much of anything in this. So
Now,
I
not
like
to-
that.
not to
I like
cut
that
you off,
opening.
But do you think the only reason he said, that's your name for me or whatever, I'm not doing that, do you think that was just because in episode 1 they said, the Sith haven't been around for millennia, so they're like, we'll just say that and then that'll.
Oh, sure. Why not?
Yeah, that's some weak writing, but that's what the show's all about.
That's yeah, exactly. But I guess what really killed me about this is they opened it up with this breathing and they made it seem like, okay, we're about to enter like a real intense scene and we're finally going to get, we're going to give you that payoff. I know that we were gonna, that you should have gotten it an episode ago, but instead we had to do a whole ass flashback. But now you're gonna get it. Now you're gonna get that payoff. That scene, I don't know if you all noticed, but it didn't even last 2 minutes. It was breathing. She unlocks the Force. Chimere is able to break through it. Screen wipe over to checking back in with Sol and May. And it's like, oh, hold on. So let me get this straight. You're going to tease me with the fact that she finally, after 8 episodes, finally unlocks her access to the Force again. Going back to like the first couple of episodes, she kind of showed that she was cut off from the Force. She wasn't able to use it. Now she finally unlocks it. And not only that, on top of that, you're telling me that Chimere is enough of a master that he's able to push through it. He's able to push through it in order to pull that mask off and snap her out of it. But you're not going to dwell on that. You're not going to explore that at all. It's like, come on, writers, let's go. Come on, directors. I don't know if they edited it out. Maybe they felt it was dragging too long. I don't know. But I think that scene should have been explored more. What do you two think?
No, I agree.
They didn't think so, Doug. They didn't think they should have went any deeper than that.
Clearly. Instead, we had to go, and have, the argument between May and Sol, and it was just like, yeah, we've heard all this. I don't care. Get back to the good stuff. I do not care about this. And then,
Sol,
of course, we've got, oh my gosh, the Pip droid. Okay. All right. I know that movies and shows have to have a MacGuffin. I get it, and they use it to move the plot forward, but it's a lockpick and a taser.
It does everything.
Well, R2
Sure.
opens up doors all the time. It's got
R2
tasers.
was huge. Of course R2 can do that.
Huge. Now you're body shaming him? Damn, Doug.
Oh. And then that.
How is Saul completely oblivious to all that? What was going on? He's such a good Jedi. He's completely oblivious to everything she was doing.
See, my problem,
I was wondering that too. Like, how was he so oblivious to it?
my
So
problem with
at about
Saul
like,
was he did this heinous
Oh.
thing.
was he letting her go?
And, no, he did this heinous thing 16 years ago. And, you know, he felt guilt about it, covered it up. But they made him try to be the nicest guy. He's like, oh, I just did it. I did what I thought was right. I wanted to train you. And not even a hint of, like, having a little touch of evil in him. They, like, wanted him to make him good, but do this bad thing and feel guilty over it. I was like, you know, pick a side, pick a theme, or do something. I mean, I liked Soul as a character at first, but then as the more I went, I'm like, he's kind of a dipshit.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's hard to.
Like the less you
root
knew about him, the better it was, the better he was.
Yep.
The more you got to know him, like, oh, he's not that good of a character after all.
Obviously, they felt that at this point we needed a little dose of comedy thrown in there, right? So they had May tell him, you know, "See you in hell, Jedi," and I laughed. I laughed so friggin' hard at that. I laughed because of it was kind of dumb. I know that wasn't the intent. The intent was obviously a callback. Han Solo said this. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But it felt so out of place. I was like, all right, whatever.
By the way, I have a
But
question
I
too.
got to ask you two, because I could not for the life of me figure this out. I was thinking about it, and I started thinking too hard, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm wasting, brain cells on this. What was May's plan? Like, I know she's trying to get away from Soul, but what was the plan? Like, she even mentions when she's in the ship, "Oh, I wish this had a hyperdrive." Yeah, no, duh, of course it doesn't. You came here in a hyperdrive ring because they don't really make small enough hyperdrives yet. What's the plan? Where were you gonna go?
Well, not only that. See, I don't think she had a plan. She was just trying to escape, maybe.
Okay.
Why did the sniffer start ripping out wires to stop Soul?
I don't
I'm like-
know.
Yeah. What was that?
Why did Beaver Weasel care?
Yeah.
Again, what's the plan? What is the point? Why are we doing that?
I saw that.
Not
I was
only
hoping
that,
for a flashback of Soul beating him or something, like 5 years
Yeah.
or 10 years
He
ago.
didn't even
at
address
the
it.
temple.
He just turned
Maybe.
around, saw him do it, and then they didn't address anything after that. That was like, what? Why? Why did he do that?
We need
Maybe
a
when they
reason
were,
why Soul doesn't catch her. Let's have the Beaver Weasel. I'm going to steal your phrase.
Right.
Rip out
the
some
Beaver
wires so
Weasel
she
do it.
can get away to that planet. Oh, that's good. Should we explain why the Beaver Weasel did it? No one cares.
No.
Just don't worry about it.
Hard stop.
See, that
Screen
made me,
wipe.
that made me pause it. I'm like, did I miss something? Like, did he kick?
well-
Was he like in House of the Dragon where the guy kicked the dog, and I missed him kicking the Beaver Weasel?
Well, I'm glad you just paused it. I screamed in obscenity. I was like, what the was this? No, okay, so maybe, all right, I think you're probably right. When they were, interviewing Soul, give him his promotion from Padawan to Knight, they're looking over his resume. Okay, I see here. Wow, okay, you've been on a lot of missions. Oh, you've done a lot of great things. Wow. Oh, look at this. Oh, you do. Okay, but I noticed here at the very bottom of your resume, it says that you kick animals in the face and body. Did you want to go into detail on that? No.
No.
Great. You're
All right,
promoted.
you're in. You're in. You win.
Have you done anything bad in the past? No, not really. Okay,
Now,
cool.
was Soul trying to, when Beaver Weasel, chewed on the wires, like maybe that was just it. Maybe he's just being an animal chewing on the wires. That was it.
No, They showed his intelligence before this. He was a smart B
I'm
movie.
trying to make it make sense. But was Soul trying to shoot May down? Is that what he was
just
trying to do?
catch her. He wasn't shooting
In
her.
Oh.
an asteroid field.
But like,
In
with
an
what?
asteroid
Did he
field.
have like a magnet, a tractor beam? Like, what was he gonna do?
They didn't think that far ahead, Doug.
Because
Come
like
on.
I saw him bring up the so he had the tracking computer, right? And then he was getting ready to hit a switch before Beaver Weasel pulled out the wires. What was that switch for? What was he trying to do?
Maybe it
And if
was
he was going to shoot her down, to what end?
I don't
Like,
think
how would that have helped
it
him?
was a tractor beam to pull it back into the ship.
I hope you're right.
Yeah.
I know you're probably defending it.
No.
and making
I was
that
just
up.
trying to think of anything that it could have been.
Right.
But so many things they did in this series.
Made no sense.
It was like,
Because
okay,
the reason why I made note of that is because literally right before she escapes, he tells her, "No, I need you because we have to explain. You're my proof. You're my proof that a virgin exists on this planet. Before, when I thought you were dead, they wouldn't have believed me with just Osha, but with both of you, there's proof." And then it's
Why?
like a minute later, "Oh, I better shoot her down."
Yeah.
My proof.
and once again,
Why wouldn't OSHA be proof enough?
you
Why
think
would
she
they have to show both of them? Yeah, you would think she would be, because it was just a coven of all women, and that would prove that a newborn would be from the virgins, or e-virgins, or whatever they called it.
I have
Because of-
no idea.
But yeah,
Like I said,
really
there was so much that I was just like, it doesn't make sense, the choices that are being made.
Yeah.
And then, after all of that, we finally are able to flash back to the cool planet where the cool stuff is happening. But like, we only flash back to have them like, okay, we're gonna get on the ship and leave. And then, by the way, here's our obligatory Plagueis cameo, and then we're gone again. And it's like the pacing of these episodes has bothered me this whole season. I don't get what they're going for with this. Like, I noticed that back in the one other cool episode where, we finally found out that Chimere was Smilo Ren. We didn't know that. There was no
Yeah.
hints at all.
No
That
one
was like,
could've
what a
No way you
twist.
could possibly-
But
yeah, they dropped it in there really good.
in that episode, they kept doing that too. They kept like cutting back and forth and doing all these wipes. And I brought up to you guys, it feels like they were doing this because this is meant to have like commercial breaks put in or something. And I still don't know if that's the case. I never did find out one way or the other. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning behind the structure of this is. So not only do we have an issue with, just the overall placement of episodes, where we've got these unnecessary flashback episodes structured in between, these two episodes that really should have been connected. If they would have had episode 6 and episode 8 together,
Yeah.
it made a lot more sense. It would have flowed better, and they wouldn't have lost momentum. I think Keith mentioned this a bit ago, is the fact that it felt like they had lost a lot of momentum in the beginning. And yeah, that's true. They really did. If they would have, continued this on, picked it up right where it left off, I think I might have been more invested. But instead, I'm like Dave. I'm rolling my eyes like, oh, right. I forgot we were doing this little, helmet practice thing for less than 2 minutes.
And, in a typical fashion for us, I want to know why, by jumping to the end, I mean,
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
why she gets this happy ending scene, like, oh, I'll find you and all this stuff. They're murderers. Every one of them.
Wait,
Every
who?
one of them in that scene.
You're gonna have to remind me who's gonna find who.
Yeah. They are the same person, so how are they going to find each other? I mean,
Oh no, I'm
Manny
sorry.
and
I'm
Osha.
literally blocking that out.
Oh,
May
okay.
promised to find Osha. What was the deal there? I remember May got her
They were
mind
going to
wiped.
erase her memory so that
Yeah.
the Jedi couldn't get anything out of her. And then
Okay.
she says, well, I'm going to find you anyway.
Oh no, she isn't actually though.
Yeah, no,
she
she's
can't though.
They're having these tearful
No.
hugs and goodbyes. Are we supposed to feel something? are we supposed to be? Oh, they're separating.
Yes,
that's what it
because
felt like.
they're the main characters and the best actress in the entire series. Hard stop.
And yeah, they're
Well, and
murderers.
you were supposed to think, these Jedi did some terrible things, even though when we saw the whole story on the flashback, none of them really did anything overly terrible.
Yeah.
Nope.
Like,
Yeah. Okay.
Kalneka was upset because his mind was taken over. Soul, even though he never showed any remorse until the very end,
Yes.
killed the mother. Torben, who got beaten up by a Wookiee, took poison because of his guilt, which I still don't understand what that was. They killed
Right.
these tormentors, Dave.
Yeah.
They finally got their revenge for what happened to them.
Yeah, that was disappointing, in a word that Keith used earlier.
Yeah.
It comes up a lot
Very
when talking about this.
Unfortunately, and I wish it didn't because, I'm not trying to sound like a hater on the internet. One thing that I had mentioned to the two of you is that I actually respect the way that we've been going about this. Since we first started watching The Acolyte, we did it with good intentions, right? We came in trying to give it a fair chance because the fact of the matter is we were finally getting something different. We were getting a piece of Star Wars that they haven't shown us on the screen before. They had the opportunity to finally give us something that was not in the Skywalker Saga for once. And so they had this opportunity to do something, show us the Jedi of the past, maybe the emergence of the Sith, and show us, some of these stories that we've maybe heard about, show the origins of things, and kind of give us an idea of, how we got to where we were in The Phantom Menace. But instead, it was just like, when they were sitting at the writer's table, I almost wonder if they were throwing out ideas and they didn't know how, which ones to cut out. Like, yeah, we want to do all of this. We want it to be a murder mystery. We want it to be this weird sister love thing. We want a witch cult. We want the Jedi are the bad guys. And it's like, they had so much going on. They were trying to fit all of these storylines, and it was very overly convoluted, And exactly what you were saying, Keith, a minute ago, when you said that they kind of kicked themselves with their own flashback by showing the Jedi really weren't as bad as they were trying to portray them to be. And you're right. But, it's worse than that because they did 2 full episodes of flashbacks. These were not sprinkled in where we could have been like, well, maybe it was implied. Well, maybe they didn't show the whole thing. 2 full episodes of flashbacks.
Yeah. And after you're right. After the first 2 episodes, we were all like, okay, there's some things going on here. This could be good. But like we always say, they got to close the deal. They got to finish it off.
Yeah, yeah.
And they didn't. They created these interesting things, nothing that nobody couldn't figure out. I mean, you watch one of our shorts from 3 weeks ago. We said Osha was going to be the one that kills Soul. Everyone saw it coming. It wasn't a secret. But they set up some things that if they could have just, finished the landing, it would have been good. It would have been acceptable. And it's like they came up with this stuff. They're like, how should we end it? Who cares? We got some cool stuff going on, so we're good.
It's like,
Now, in their minds, it was the mystery. I can't even say. I wouldn't expect them to be that misleading that they would say, all right, the mystery was actually what was going to happen to Soul. Because Soul is the one who actually killed the mother, and he dies in the last episode, so that's rounded up. If that was what they had in mind for the mystery of it all, because there was no mystery to any of it. We all knew what was happening every step of the way. But if that was their idea, that's another just a bad. I don't know if it is, but what else got wrapped up in this episode that you could even say we were all waiting for?
That we were waiting for?
Yeah, I wasn't even waiting for the Saul thing that I mentioned, but I figured his character came to an end. So you would think, all right, that's the conclusion of whatever story they want you to know. I don't know. I just don't know what the conclusion, what was the message they're sending out with this story.
You know what I like too is that Venestra didn't learn anything from the lies that they told and just compounded it with more lies. You know what?
Oh, yeah.
Soul killed all these dudes. What? Master Soul? He was always so nice. Everyone loved him.
No, it turns out he was a
murderer.
shithead. Oh, totally.
Yeah. And they
I
just
hate
like,
that
okay.
dude.
Okay,
Oh,
that's
let me
fine.
tell you, Soul, one time he went into the little Jedi's room and he left an empty roll. Yeah, I know. What a dick, right?
He kicked
He's a
Sniffer.
dip.
He kicked the beaver.
He, so look at his resume. He kicked Sniffer in the head and the face. That-
You should
okay,
burn
wow.
in hell. Burn in hell.
So like he kicked him and you let him be a Jedi.
Well, and once again, setting up a little distrust between the Jedi Council and the
The
Senate
Senate. Yeah.
was a good idea. They didn't execute it very well. Instead of it being the Jedi is, hey, this is what happened. We're still our own thing, and we're gonna lie about all this stuff because that's what started this whole thing, and that's gonna be the answer to it too.
Yeah.
And
Well, now they're gonna have to remember all these lies too.
yeah, and Vanestra was never one to lie and stuff like that early on in the comics and the books. So it really was a change of character. Now I know this is down the line from where it was, but the fact that she is willing to lie to the Senate, the Chancellor, and everything else, just so the Jedi look good. Man, why? You don't have to. You know what? It's like when a cop goes rogue.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like every cop is now bad, and we should disband every police force. It's one guy is bad, and they could have really done a good story about a rogue Jedi who's not this lovable guy that everybody likes, who all of a sudden, honestly, was defending himself. This witch was using some power he didn't know, and he was just defending himself. She died. He probably felt bad about that. But it wasn't like he murdered her in cold blood. It wasn't like she was walking up to get a drink of water and he stabbed her in the back. She was
Right.
turning into like a smoke monster or something, teleporting, and he used his lightsaber.
And how was he supposed to know that being a smoke monster makes you extra stabbable?
Yes. How that works, I don't know either. And just so you know, we've played Jedi Survivor on our stream before. I've
Yeah.
killed a lot more people than Soul did in that game for a lot less. And guess what?
Including himself.
Yes. That's just
Plenty of
falling.
places to fall.
I'm falling with style. But it just didn't make sense. They should have just had, if you're going to have a Jedi go bad, have him fully go bad. Have him be Walter White.
It's like they wanted you to like every character at the end of the show.
Yeah.
And that can't be possible.
No.
I like that. I like that idea. They should have had him go Walter White. Yeah, both of you are correct. If you are going to have a character that we're supposed to realize, oh, they're the baddie, then lean in on it.
Like, they went A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, going all in. Vader is this guy who murdered Jedi.
Mhm.
Oh my God, he's actually Anakin Skywalker. He fell from grace. They weren't like, he made a few mistakes, but he's a good guy. We
Right.
liked him. We liked him because he was an evil. He was menacing. He was evil. He was a great bad guy. You don't make everybody good guys, and just a Three's Company miscommunication happens, and it destroys 50 lives. Not the right way to handle it.
Oopsies.
Well, back to the editing room here for a sec. They should have had him just as soon as he was revealed to have done wrong. He should have just went, all right, that's it. Like, I guess you figured me out, and just gone nuts. That would have been cool. And then they had to
There
take
you
him
go.
out.
Another way to right, yeah. Have him lean into it. Exactly.
Or just have
As
the-
long as there's like nothing left to lose, why not?
just
Right.
have the lying that he had to do all that time. Even in Dara, instead of being like, listen, some mistakes were made. We can't train OSHA. Instead of going, okay, let's just say Maid burned everything down so we can train OSHA. Did she really think that was a good idea? It would have been better to have them say, listen, you can't do it. We got to explain to the council what happened, and then have him break bad from there. As long as we're, back to the editing room, have that be where he's like, oh, okay, and then train OSHA on the side away from everybody. Have him take like a secret Padawan, and then, slowly turn maybe to the dark side. And that's where, maybe they run into.
Ooh. I like the
another
slow burn
Sith.
idea.
Yeah, don't have
What
it.
if, okay, tacking onto that, still in the editing room, what if they made the slow burn more apparent with the color of of Soul's lightsaber? So what if they would have had him slowly doing more despicable things episode after episode, realizing, what, I've got to cover up this lie. Well, I've got to cover this up now too. Well, I've got to, do this, and I've got to kill this guy. And we watch his lightsaber, the color blue slowly darken and kind of turn into a shade of purple. And instead of, now the bleeding of the Kyber crystal was pretty cool. I will admit I liked seeing that on screen. I think it's the first time we've seen it, in not out, outside of a video game, the first time we've seen it in a TV show or a movie. And I thought that was pretty cool. But what would have been cooler and along, more of the murder mystery route is if it would have been more subtle. If it would have been like slowly becoming purple and like you're kind of noticing episode 6, you're like, wait, why does it look like that? Maybe the shading is off. I don't know. Maybe it's me. But it would have been cool if they're doing that and slowly, like as he's, doing more and more shitty things to cover up his lies, he's becoming the Sith that he's hunting.
Yeah. That would have
And
been
it turns out
better
he's the one who trained Chimera.
What?
And then her Venestra didn't even have to be a bad guy at all. She could actually be the one uncovering everything that Saul does at the end. And then to blame him at the end would be the right thing to do. That would have been a much better show. The three of us just came up with a much better show.
But speaking of potentially, somewhat kind of cool things, I kind of sort of liked the whole Magneto moment with Chimera. Like that the minute he realized that Venestra was there on the planet, he's like, quickly put the helmet on. You're not invading my mind.
I like that too. And I like that he hid. She kind of figured out, which once again, we said weeks ago she was going to be his former Jedi Master. Not that
again,
we
it was
are,
so obvious.
Right. We're not some geniuses that figured it out. It was pretty obvious. But
Gee, I wonder what that scar on his back is. Next scene, she's got a whip lightsaber.
I wonder what that is. Maybe they'll tell us someday.
I bet in the writer's room, they all sat there and patted each other on the back and said, that is so clever. I bet that happened.
Well, once again, sometimes the writing can be good. And the direction when they're filming it can be off.
Just not here.
I think a good twist is not about hiding everything from the audience and then throwing it on them like, hey, this is what you don't see. We hit it so well that you didn't see this. I think a good twist is telegraphing what's going to happen, and then once it does, executing without an ounce of pity or sentimentality.
You're trying to.
That's what the showrunner said.
I was going to say, you're trying to get a job in the writers' room for season 2, aren't you?
That was what she said when people were asking her. She was in an interview, and they said, "So, what happened to the whole big mystery? Like, we all know who is under that mask." And she's like, "Well, no, I wanted people to know. I wasn't trying to hide it."
Well, then what's the mystery that you're talking about?
It was what we learned in the flashback episode from 7.
Oh, which was stuff we already knew.
And then, I like how we were sitting here thinking, oh, well, maybe, we're trying to like really think like, oh, it's a much deeper story. We're waiting for it to, okay, maybe we'll find out in the flashback that it turns out, it was all, we weren't really seeing what was happening. This was just from Osha's point of view, and maybe May didn't really start that fire. That seems like, no, May started the fire.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
She felt bad
So,
about it.
what was the big thing that we missed? That her mom turns into a smoke monster sometimes. Oh, okay.
And like Dave said, took control of a Wookiee Jedi and was having them fight. Mm-hmm. And then, oh my God, why are you guys attacking us now? We didn't do anything. You took control of our buddy and he tried to murder us. What was that? We're sorry about that.
It's just that. Come on. We told you things were going to get weird right when you walked in.
But yeah, I did kind of like I liked some of the little bit of nostalgia bait. Normally, I hate it, that kind of stuff, when it seems forced, but in this particular episode, I didn't mind it as much because it I didn't like it anyway, so it was like, all right, well, this is I know where that's from, so I could play a game. Okay, I know where that's from. Oh, okay, so the breathing. It's Darth Vader. Okay, I get it on. To go to hell, Jedi. It's Han Solo. Okay, cool. Oh, she's flying through the ice rings. Oh, okay, I get him. It's Han Solo flying through the asteroid field, or that's Ahsoka flying through the whale bones. All right, that's nice. That's a nice little touch. Okay, cool. Oh, it's what was the other thing?
Coruscant.
Well, I mean, they constantly went to Coruscant. Yoda at the end. Oh, it's Yoda. He seems older than he should be. Okay, but yay, Yoda.
Yeah, you've been 800 there. I mean, when 800 years old you reach, look as good you will not.
Oh, it's like, okay,
Heck, I'm only 50
nice.
and I don't look that good, so I can't. 800, I can't imagine. If I'm the crypt keeper now.
You look better than Grogu, right? Right?
Don't look at all the gray hairs in my beard.
Okay, Homelander, are you gonna start picking them out? Put them in
I am, and I'm gonna keep them in a jar.
Well, should we rate this episode? Or you guys still got more complainy things?
Well, no. I don't want to keep. That's what I was about to say. I've been complaining most of this time. I do want to say the couple of things that were good, because at the end of the day, like, we went in again with good faith. We weren't trying to just hate on this, and there were touches of things that could have worked. If they would have reworked the story, if they would have, actually done something with it, if they would have structured it better, if they would have maybe not focused so heavy on the Osha May twin storyline. If that would have just been like in one episode to lead to the rest of this, that would have been fine, maybe a better way to go about it. But I kind of didn't mind that end scene. And if you are on YouTube and you saw the thumbnail for this, right before we get, the whole Yoda thing, I kind of liked that. It reminded me of a better movie. And I thought of Rogue One at the end when they were, watching the Death Star blow up the planet. And I was watching that scene, and I'm like, it was a nice end. This episode was not great, but that was a nice, lovely little end.
See, I was kind of like, okay, he's her master now. Why are they holding hands?
Well, see,
why are they being nice to each other?
They're the dark side, so they don't have to follow HR rules.
That makes sense.
Well, don't they call everybody on the council master, even if they're not their direct master?
Yes.
I guess. I mean, I suppose, if he's a Sith, then yes, he'd be the only one. If he's not a Sith, then, I don't know, maybe he's got a big ego. But regardless of that,
So what was your reason?
he's talented, he's skilled, so I'll give him that.
Oh, he was like we talked about
That
before.
lightsaber fight, that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. It was one of the few times in this series, in this season, that they made good use of the scene. They made use of the space. A lot of these scenes felt really claustrophobic, but that was cool. I loved the physics with the lightsaber. That was probably my most favorite part of this fight, is watching this deadly weapon slice through that bridge, and then the squealing noise that they made as they were holding them up against each other. That's what I was talking about back when I said that I felt like that saber was too close to her face when she was cutting her hair. Like, that thing has got to be hot. I feel like it should be anyway.
The best parts of this show was Quymere basically using his lightsaber
doing
to
his
fight
thing.
a Jedi.
It was probably the best part of this whole season.
I could watch more of that. But
Yeah.
once again, if we do get a season 2, please have new showrunners and writers.
Yes.
Because the whole problem with this, and once again, like Doug said, we came in hoping to like this. We're not.
Oh yeah.
We hate all Disney Star Wars. We like most of it. We loved Andor. I think Andor, by far, we loved the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. There's still some good in season 3. We enjoyed Ahsoka, the season finale was
Most parts
a
of
little
it, yeah.
lackluster, yes. But this just, as Dave was talking, I think before we came on, started out we liked it. It's some good things, and it was just kept slowly going downhill.
Yeah.
We picked up a little bit with the day and night episodes, only mostly because one, they shocked me and killed a bunch of the Jedi I didn't think they were going to kill, but two, the choreography for the fights were entertaining,
really good.
very good, yeah. But I mean, just the way they stuck the landing, just no thought, no real interesting thing going on. They wanted, like Dave said earlier, they wanted you to like every character, and you're not going to be able to do that. You may like a character because it's a well-written character, but it's evil, and you're not like, I'm rooting for that guy. And they could have handled that with this, and instead they wanted you to like everyone on the show.
Yeah.
And it's not going to work. And it didn't work.
So, any other good things to say about this before we rate it?
I don't have anything good to say about this episode.
Yeah, once again, having good thought process, having, some division at the end of the High Republic. You need a little division between the Jedi Council and the Senate, but the way they handled it, her lying to save face just was the wrong way to go about it. If she would have just said, hey, this is what happened, that guy still would have been like, yeah, we still need to investigate you. This is still wrong. You guys are out of control, blah, blah, blah. Could have been, if Tony Gilroy would have handled it, it would have been so much better. There would have been intrigue and everything else. And, I guess we'll see.
I've heard he's getting more Star Wars projects, Tony Gilroy. So if he does,
good,
that would be fantastic.
Yes,
that would be.
The rumor was that Lucasfilm wanted him to work more with them, wanted to handle more projects. I don't know if he's agreed to any more, but please, we know you're out there watching, Tony. We know you love the stream. Do a few. You might want to do some other projects outside there. Do it, but write some more, because you may not be all that familiar with every Star Wars character and every Legends book, but you can write characters and stories, and that's really what matters most.
I think one of my favorite scenes, and I give him credit for this. It's probably obviously the art direction and the actual director of the episode from Andor, but one of my favorite scenes that I think about pretty often, that I think if they would have paid more attention to the set design and where they were doing the shooting in the Acolyte, they could have pulled scenes like this off. But at one point when they're walking from their camp to make their way to where they're gonna pull off their heist, they're walking along and you see a wide shot and you just see this mountain and all these fields and everything, and you just see this little trail, and they're walking, and this TIE fighter comes flying in, and it doesn't need to hone in on them. Like, there's a lot of wide open space, but it does it on purpose. It spots them, and then it whooshes down just to scare them, and they all dive to the ground, and we see the horror on their faces as they were afraid. Are they going to spot us? Are they going to shoot us? Are they going to run us down? What is going to happen with this TIE fighter? And that was such an expertly shot scene. I kind of wish that the Acolyte was able to pull something like that off.
Same. Well, should we rate the final?
Well, I was going to say, I'm sure that scene didn't even take up 30 seconds, but to you, it changed the whole atmosphere of the show.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, like we always say, it doesn't take much, just do it the right way. And that's it. Something small like that. Or a conversation that they're having between two characters during the show that might not relate to the plot, just deepens the character. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Stuff like that. That's what's missing.
But yes, I agree, Keith. I think we should probably rate this. Dave, do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. And like Keith said, and I was discussing it before, it seemed like this show plateaued at the very first episode, or maybe the second episode. It just kept going downhill after that for me, except for the one where they had the reveal where we all know who Smilo Ren was. The action and Darth Teeth or whatever. The reaction, the action in that show was amazing. That was pretty good. So this episode overall for me, because they tried to give it a happy ending for everybody, because they wanted us to feel sorry for Soul after he did all these supposedly heinous things, when it looked to me, if anything, he was acting in self-defense. So I don't know what he would be feeling so sorry about. Just all that together and it coming together at the same spot, I'm going to give this episode a 2.5. And overall for the series, I'm going to rate it a 4. I don't think it was mediocre. I don't think it was quite up to that mediocre thing, and I definitely don't want to watch it again. And if they had a season 2, it's like Keith said, get a new showrunner, get new writers. And then, I mean, the three of us earlier tonight just came up with a better scenario than they had. And I think it would have been a lot more intriguing. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I kind of had to know because the track record of Leslye Headland and my preferences, this actually lived up to what I thought it would do. I didn't think it would be that good, and it wasn't. I mean, she's only in my experience, what I've liked from her is it's only been one, season 1 of Russian Doll. Anything else I've seen from her, I just have been like this, like, okay. So there you go. Sorry, that's my rating. There it is.
You don't need to be sorry. That's your rating, man.
Yeah, no, don't be sorry.
Yeah, you go ahead, Doug.
All I was going to say is, you can give your rating, man. All I was going to say is that the fact that you're not just, saying, I didn't like it because I didn't like that actress and it was bad and I wasn't even going to watch it. The fact that you took your time, you watched every one of the episodes, that you gave this a fair shot, and you're not just hating on it, you're saying the reasons why it was wrong and what it could have done to be better. That's an honest review.
Mm-hmm.
Don't feel sorry for that. Sorry, go ahead, Keith.
No, you're absolutely right.
All right.
Never be sorry.
He's what right?
Absolutely right. Now, once again, I think if they could have stuck the landing on this final episode a little better, it would have been good. I don't think they were ever going to make this show great. I think they made a lot of bad choices, but they could have done a better job. I mean, the highlights, there were a few. There were some parts. Excuse me. Like we talked about, the lightsaber battles I thought were really good. Like Doug, I liked when she kind of bled the kyber crystal because of her anger and hate. We've always heard that's what, builds it up. But the fact, how they handled this entire season just was not good. I had high hopes for it. I was hoping it was going to be interesting. And they took a lot of interesting concepts and made them uninteresting and made them boring. And much like Dave, I doubt I will ever watch this, show again, unless, we're doing a back to the editing room or something to, expound on what we did. But it wasn't a terrible show. It had some good parts. Like Dave said, the first 2 episodes when I watched it, I was like, okay, this could be good. But it seemed like the acting got worse as it went on. I've never, in a couple of episodes, I was like, okay, maybe it was the director. But the acting got progressively worse, it seemed like, each episode, especially from Amandla as the twins. She went from playing them differently to playing them the same character. And maybe that was intentional because they were the same person, supposedly. But I don't know. It just didn't seem to work for me. It's like, okay, what clothes are they wearing? I can tell which one's which. It just seemed, she was acting the same, but she wasn't acting with much emotion or anything else. I just think overall, this episode, I would probably rate it about a 3.5. And that's only because of Soul and Quimir's lightsaber battle. The rest of it, I could really do without. So many weird scenes that didn't make sense, like with the sniffer and, him not taking both the twins and wiping her mind and, just as a plot device for if they get a season 2 so they can use May to find her sister. Just, in my opinion, a lot of bad choices. But overall, I think I'm going to give the entire first season, I think I'm going to give it a 4.6. It had some moments. I think it was below average, but it wasn't terrible. There were some good parts in it. You know, there's been other things I've watched where it's like, that was not worth my time. But this had some cool moments, and there was things I liked. So while being below average, still not terrible.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with all the points that both of you stated. But I kind of figured that I was going to take issue with this episode. And, I didn't want to. I did not want to, but the minute I realized that they were going to have to try and tie up all of these loose ends that they've been, creating by trying to cram so many different stories going on at the same time, so many different characters, they got to wrap this all up. And it was like they refused to go much longer than a half an hour. I think this one might have been 45 minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
And it was like they were trying to cram as much in as possible. And also they had to have their, all their obligatory Star Wars Easter eggs. But the minute that I was reminded of exactly where this was picking up, not an episode prior, but 2 episodes prior, because of the structuring and the pacing, that short scene in the very beginning, that's where it started showing all of the issues with the episode pacing and the overall episode structure. Like I had mentioned, the scene lasts less than 2 minutes before it screen wipes to catch us all up with Sol and May, again, where we left off 2 episodes ago. And they wasted the opportunity to show us in more detail Osha finally tapping into her force powers. And then on top of that, Chimere, supposed to be this like master of the dark side, he's expertly defending against them, but again for like maybe a minute. And it could have been a much cooler scene if they would have just let it breathe, kind of work with us a little bit. If they needed to make the episode a bit longer, do it. But like Keith and Dave both basically implied that they had a lot to work with throughout this season, throughout this episode, but they kept dropping the ball. Every time there was something kind of cool or a story element that might have possibly gone somewhere, they got like distracted. Is there something shiny off to the side? I don't know what was going on, but I can't tell you how many times I was rolling my eyes, how many times I was like, okay, this is dumb. And, you heard us throughout this review. Like, why did they do that? What was the point? What was their plan? Why did Beaver Weasel pull out those wires? Why was Sol trying to shoot down May? Why was May even trying to fly off in the first place? Like, there were so many choices that were being made that you're constantly questioning throughout the episode. Why? Why is this being done? To what end? What is the point? And I started realizing that that's kind of how I felt through a good majority of this season. There was a lot of moments where I'm like, what is the point? Why are they doing what they're doing? And so by the time we did finally get to something kind of cool, like what Keith pointed out, the lightsaber battle, so phenomenal. That was probably one of my favorite things in this entire episode. That was so cool. Finally, they gave a scene needed time. They let it breathe. They allowed us to move to different spaces. We had a hallway fight. You guys know I love lightsaber hallway fights. Oh my gosh, we got to... It reminds me of the Balin scene. Oh my gosh, and you know how much I love that. Oh, like, there are some things that you can do right, and this was one of them. I love the choreography. I thought the slow-mo descent was a little hokey, but otherwise it was really cool. I love the use of the 2 blades that Chimere had. I thought that was really neat, the fact that he had kind of a short blade and then a longer blade. I assume that's like a whole nod to like samurai films. I think that's what they're going for. Either that or it was kind of a nod towards Ahsoka's 2 blades, because I think if I remember right, wasn't one of her lightsabers shorter than the other?
Yes, and I think it might be a little bit to like the Knights of the Old Republic video games. You could have like a smaller blade that uses dexterity.
That's right. I forgot about that. You are right. Yeah, but I thought that was neat. And I kind of liked how they fit together into, he was able to connect it into the hilt. And I like how now that we know how that helmet works, that it literally makes it so he can't see and he's just relying on the Force. Again, that's building his character. I kind of wish that it wasn't in the last episode of the season. I wish we would have gotten this like way earlier on, but instead, like they're just trying to cram everything in. And but that was a cool scene, and then the bleeding of the Kyber crystal was probably the only other cool scene. After that, it was I don't know if they were running out of film on the film reel and they're like, all right, okay, we got to wrap this up. Let's go. Come on, come on, come on. How are we going to end this? Quick, wipe May's memory. Why? Who cares? Okay. All right, and what's going to happen with Chimere? Him and Osha, they're going to take off and go do cool dark side shit together. Sure, but why? Who cares? Let's go.
Wait, we gotta have Yoda. We gotta have Yoda.
Right. Oh my God, show Yoda. All right, I think we got the puppet around here somewhere. Perfect.
Should he talk? No, we'll just show the back of his head.
No. Quick, let's have Osha and May switch outfits, just like Luke did to show the dark side and light side in case it wasn't super obvious. So, yeah.
They said hi, Sully.
I just... Wasted
What
potential.
the Sigma?
Just wasted potential,
what the
unfortunately. You know?
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that.
It could have done a lot more. It could have been a lot better. They had a lot to work with. So like there it is. I highly recommend that all of you check out the High Republic comic book series. Seriously, great read. Check it out.
And please, Lucasfilm, announce a High Republic animated series at D23.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Don't, like Doug
There's
said,
nothing wrong with that time frame.
You know,
it's great to explore it.
the writers for this episode, for this series, had free reign to do whatever they wanted. They weren't stuck in the Skywalker saga and have to do certain things. They had free reign, and they squandered it. But that doesn't mean there aren't good stories to tell here. So please, give us an animated series. Give us another live action series here. Do more here, because it's interesting. You can still give us what Dave's been waiting for nonstop. You know, the Daisy Ridley Rey New Jedi Council movie that he's been talking about nonstop for years. You're getting it. Dave. They're gonna film. You know, still do that. Still do the Mandoverse, but give us this too.
Mm-hmm.
We can handle it all. We promise. Just give us good stuff. Give us more Andor, less Acolyte.
Yeah.
You can even name things
So
starting with A. That's fine.
I'm gonna rate it. I'm gonna rate this episode a 4. And I am going to rate... No. I take that back. I'm going to rate this episode a 3. I'm going to rate the season overall a 4.
Yeah. All right.
Because this episode, like I said, it had like maybe 2 or 3 cool scenes. I didn't hate the, staring into the sunset with Chimere and Osha. I thought it was weird they were holding hands, but again, I figured it was just a nod to Rogue One. I assumed that's what they were going for. But,
that handheld did seem a little aggressive for a master-student type of hand-holding.
Let's get it on.
Yeah. I think Chimere wanted a little more than Osha did.
He was going to show her his short lightsaber.
Giggity, giggity.
For training.
And she didn't want to see it. She didn't want it. And that was her choice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just unfortunate because I wanted this to be good. Like what Keith said, I wanted it to be good and I wanted to enjoy this. And we watched every single episode hoping that it would be good. Not once did we quit on this. So, again, we weren't trying to be haters here. It wasn't good. And if you're sitting here, trying to claim that it's the best thing out there, I don't know what you've been watching.
Yeah, you're
You have
part of
the right to your opinion. And I'm not saying that you can't think what you want, but it was poorly structured.
If you thought this was the best Star Wars, peak Star Wars, by all means, watch it as many times as you like. Love it, write about
Yeah.
it, but don't try to tell anyone that didn't like it that they're wrong. And we
Yeah.
won't tell you you're wrong. I'm not going to say you're wrong. You loved it.
Yeah.
Subjective. Good for you. But
If you loved it, you're gonna love Andor. You're gonna love everything else if you love this.
I don't know. Maybe they won't.
I mean, it's got nowhere to go but up from here.
That's true. That is true.
God, I hope you're right, Dave. Because if it goes, it could get worse.
Please don't. Please
I
don't.
certainly don't want that to happen. But saying the only way they can go
Rogue
is up from
Squadron,
here.
directed by Michael Bay.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. We finally gave Zack Snyder his Star Wars series for Disney Plus. You thought Rebel Moon was bad.
Disney sells Lucasfilm to Sony.
We're gonna put it all into a trailer, and then that's gonna be the only good thing that came out. That trailer is gonna be the only good thing that goes out for the next 20 years.
So I already stole Bug's Life for Rebel Moon. What should I steal for my Star Wars movie? But hey, should we get our special guest in here and start talking?
I think we should.
About a little hot D.
You know what? I want some hot D. I could really go for some hot D.
Really cleanse that bad taste in my mouth.
Is that where you want the hot D to go?
Well, yeah, isn't
Okay.
that?
In your mouth.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
whoa.
talk about.
You want that
we-
hot D in
we-
your mouth.
We talk about the hot D, so it's in my mouth, right? Isn't that what you guys talk
Right,
about?
right.
No, I mean, I'll stay quiet then.
Because your mouth's full. Oh,
Oh!
we kid. This is kid-friendly show.
It's a family show.
This part will be edited out of the video that stays on YouTube.
No, we're doing it live.
Just do it live. But it will be nice to talk a little House
Good
of the
show.
Dragon.
Is Sarah still paying attention? Did somebody message her?
Yeah, she said, did you send her something, Keith?
I did not, because I'm running OBS and streaming to two things. I don't
She
really
says
have.
send the link. All right, so let me send the link. I'll send it.
All right.
So, as soon as I can find it.
Just copy the one that we used.
Right, I had to find it.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, whatever.
Yeah, so we're sitting here waiting for Sierra to go, whatever. This is my United States of whatever.
Great song.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my kids were really sick of me saying whatever to everything the day you sent me the short.
That's funny.
I'll have to, when I come
I was talking to my kids, and they're really sick of me saying whatever. So y'all looked at them and said, "Whatever."
Whatever.
And I ran into so and so on the beach, and I was like, "Hey, what's up?" He's like, "Not much." I'm like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah.
Never mind. Whatever.
I saw this girl, and she's like, "Aren't you that guy that?" And I was like,
Whatever.
"Whatever."
And I saw Kiki, and she came up. She was like, and I was like, "Whatever."
back alley playing dice, and the cop came up and he said, "I thought you told me not to do." Well, I said, "Whatever."
It was like Officer Luther. I thought it was funny that it's like it's not just a cop came in. Officer Luther walked over and he's like, "Hey, I thought whatever."
God, that is such a great song.
And that's the whole song. It's like a minute and a half or something.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And Sierra just gave us a whatevs. Oh, she's here. Did you get the link there?
Yeah, I sent her the link, man.
We don't want to put it in the stream chat because then we could get a bunch of yahoos jumping in here. You know, we
We
don't
don't have enough screen space for that.
we don't want any yahoos jumping in here.
No.
we do want them in the chat.
Yes,
We want
we
to
do.
hear as many people. That's not a word. As many people as possible.
If you're out there lurking, that is fine. Lurk away. We welcome all lurkers. But if you want to chat, please do. We like to chat with people, so we like to hear your opinions. Sometimes the chatters have better ideas than we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that dude on Thursday was hilarious.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
It was Dave.
It was Dave. Was he doing a Die Hard? Hey, Sierra. Ready to talk some hot D?
Whatever.
Whatever.
I was going to say, welcome our special guest, the good Kinchus, Sierra. How's it going tonight?
Right.
Going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get
What's up?
I
have
get to
nothing
talk hot D with my daughter.
Yeah, Jesus, Dad. Come on.
Now, for me, I'm all the way caught up now. I'm on all the way up to episode 5, but they're all going to be jumbled in my head because I watched a bunch of them in a row last night.
That's okay, because now you're going to be able to call back past episodes that I've already forgotten about.
Yeah,
Good,
yeah,
good.
you binged it. You got a better, outlook on it. It's a little
Now,
different.
do you think binging it is a better way to view it than watching them week by week?
I think it brings more
Like-
of an emotional value to it. Yeah.
Like, do you like several hot Ds all at once, or just like one every week?
Not like one every week, I think
Mhm.
that's the right way to go about it.
That's how you
Yeah.
like your hot D?
See, I like, the new hot D on Sunday nights, and then, maybe some repeat hot Ds during the week to keep,
Okay.
keep things going.
Yeah.
But let's talk this episode because it's called The Regent, which I think we all
Mhm.
Wait, so Dad, you watched the episode, right?
Yeah, I'm all caught up.
The recent. Okay. Sorry.
And that's the one where okay, right when I start the conversation, she goes away.
Ah.
Alrighty.
I think we should
Go
all be
ahead.
used to that. Women leaving when we start talking. Like it's not a new experience for any of us.
It's like Stewie when he's talking to Peter and he puts his hand up. He's oh, where'd he go? I know a little conversation. All right, I don't know if she's coming back,
Yeah,
Oh,
she'll
go
be-
ahead.
she'll be-
I'm sure she can catch up.
but this is the episode where I texted her when I was watching it and said, I really don't like Eamon. I don't like him. But she texted back, and she did this with Jaime Lannister in Game of Thrones, because I said I didn't like him at the beginning either. She said, just you wait. You will like him. And I'm like, all right, well, obviously she hasn't gone forward and seen any extra shows. It has to be in the books. And he probably, if I'm
I
going to
know.
end up liking it, it's going to
Sorry.
be a very interesting character arc. You know what I'm saying?
If they
I mean,
can pull
maybe,
off
I'm not
as
sure.
interesting his character arc with Aemon as they did with Jaime Lannister, then we're all in for a treat because, his character.
Yeah.
I don't like him either, but he's a great character. I mean, he's got a lot of depth. Him doing things all make sense because of things that we've seen on the show happen to him, and why he is the way he is. But he's like we've talked about before. Him going back to see his first whore or whatever, and just kind of cuddle with her. Shows an emotional depth to him that some of these other characters may not. We haven't seen at least. So I like where he's going, and I like the fact that he was plotting behind his brother's back with Kristen Cole, and I like that.
I like that he manipulated him to like drink and dragon.
Yep.
Drink and Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Drink and Dragon.
And
Well,
you
I'm,
know,
I'm glad they got a laugh out of one of you.
They were saying there's only 14 or 13 or 14 dragons that they know about, except for the 2 that were just hatched, right?
Yeah.
And they have no qualms, but because these dragons are not just dumb animals that fly and do what they say, they're intelligent beings. So Vagar had no qualms just going up and killing one of the 13 other dragons, in the world. That's a mean dragon, man.
Well, just so you
I
know,
got
dragons
some.
are solitary creatures. They don't mind killing other dragons. Every
No.
writing there's ever been, they'll get along if they're told to get along by their dragon rider. But for the most part, dragon has no problem killing another dragon. Killing anything.
I
really.
kind of looked at it like a cavalry situation where, in our own history, when you had knights on mounted horses that were charging at each other, one of the things that a lot of people don't know about, they don't think about because it's not talked, is the fact that it took years and years and years to train these horses, because by nature, a horse does not want to just charge into a battle, doesn't want to like run up to spears and swords and everything, so they have to be trained to do that. So the fact that, they're able to get on this horse and say, all right, I want you to charge at that other guy that's also on a horse, and hopefully you don't get speared to death.
See, when they
I
train,
assumed it was a similar situation.
when they train it, they're like, okay, run at these spears and swords, and when they get up to it, they give it a carrot and an apple. So when they're actually in battle, they're like, oh man, about to get a carrot and an apple. Then, oh my god.
Well,
Why
maybe
did
I'll
you
get a
do
sugar
that to
cube
me?
this time.
Wait, what was that? That didn't happen in training.
Right.
I would have never charged at those other horses and people if I was going to get stabbed through the chest. What is wrong with you people?
Oh, hey, Jim, I see you've got a guy with a pointy thing, too. How's it going? Why are
let's
we
just-
running at each other?
Let's just charge at each other. I think that sounds like a good thing to do.
All right, let me ask this. Aegon didn't die, and I'm not talking about Egon from Ghostbusters. I'm talking about Aegon, okay?
Okay, what about him?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't die immediately after being fire breathed.
You mean
on?
Aemond?
No, he's talking to
No.
Aegon
That's
after
because
the
of his
fall.
Oh.
armor.
Okay.
Aegon.
Yeah,
I know he was kind of shielded by his own dragon, but still, he was in the center of that blast.
They do have Valerian steel on, though.
He had
Not
Aegon
all
the
of them,
Conqueror's
but
armor
he's the
on.
key.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I assume that maybe dragon fire itself isn't as hot and deadly as maybe. I mean, it's fire, but I'm guessing it must not be in a burst. It must not be that big of a deal, because what's her name? She flew through fire a couple of times, and she didn't really
Lena.
seem that much more worse for
Well,
wear. So
Remember, Daenerys
Yeah.
was fireproof. I don't know if it was so much
that's
the
a different
fire.
situation.
I don't know if the fire is what burned him or the metal, the superheated metal on his skin that actually caused
yeah.
all the burns.
That actually, I didn't think about that.
I didn't think about that either.
I completely forgot about that. I'm not gonna lie.
You just saw it.
When
That
they,
makes
took
sense.
when they showed them taking off the armor on that scene, I'm like, please stop showing this scene. If they were going to talk while they were peeling armor off him for too long, I was probably going to have to take a break. Because once again, I was watching it on my lunch break at work, and I'm like,
Why do you
"God,
keep
what
doing that to
is
yourself?"
it?" It's like the only time I can really watch a show without kids yelling and screaming and everything else going on. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, please don't make this scene too long. Okay, good, we're done.
And then I like how he finally looks at her like, could you please, like, I'm trying to save your son. Like, could you go?
Is he gonna live? It's way too soon.
I
to
don't
tell.
know, man.
Look at this. Oh wait, hold on. Yes, he's going to live. He just has a sore tooth. We're gonna give him some milk of the poppy. He'll be fine.
I put leeches on him. I gave him heroin. I should be fine.
That's
Just
the
gotta let
extent
him, heal up. The opium's gonna.
I mean, I
fix
guess I
him
could
up
cut off
right.
some more limbs. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
They didn't have heroin back then, right? They just got the opium.
Yep.
But
Opium. He was doing good, I think. But okay, so what are we thinking seriously though of this episode?
I enjoyed this episode quite a bit.
To me personally, I thought compared to the previous episode, this one was a bit more dull and slow paced.
Yeah, I
I
think
didn't
so.
dislike it, but it was definitely. I wasn't as interested in it. I was kind of interested in I swear I cannot keep all their names straight. I am losing it trying to remember because they're all named the same thing. Whoever his name is that is currently in Harrenhal.
Damon?
Damon?
Sure. That's probably
You
his
know
name.
Damon's name?
I don't remember their names. I cannot keep them straight.
That is the easiest name that's on the show.
So, Damon, I like his story. I like how he's essentially being haunted by whatever is going on in Harrenhal, and I like how he's making these terrible decisions and like blacking out in the middle of conversations. I think that was probably the most interesting part of this episode for me. That and watching oh my gosh, the son. What's the son's name? Who was talking to me? Yeah, is that him? The one who was basically brokering a deal with the Riverland folks.
Yeah, that's the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that. I thought that was pretty cool. I like the fact that he's finally, he's learning how to negotiate. He's becoming, taking more of a leadership position. I thought that was neat.
See, I liked a lot of the sort of political aspect of it. As a friend of the channel, Tundra Walker is like, "Oh, you turning on C-SPAN to watch House of the Dragon this week?" It's like, dude, that's what George R.R. Martin does. That's a lot of his books.
I didn't mind that part. Yeah.
We get him trying him basically saying, "Yeah, you can have Harrenhal if you help us. We'll give it to you." Which may or may not happen. Who would want Harrenhal anyway with how dilapidated it is? Damon and his sort of whatever's going on with him, whether it's the witch kind of controlling him or if he's just losing his mind. We saw him.
What is with him constantly like changing his title? Call me Your Majesty now. What the hell, dude?
Praise your king.
I enjoyed, him saying, "Listen, you have to do whatever you do to bring him under our fold," and then all the Riverlands people coming up and denouncing his atrocities and stuff. That, they're like they had a dragon on their banner. We know who called this. Damon was like, "Some things Targaryens can't do." You know what I mean? And they were like, "Let's put his banner up and go start doing all this stuff." I like stuff like that. Seeing one of my favorite scenes, and I'm Team Black all the way. I think we've made that clear. When Alicent was like, "I should be the regent," and Larys was like, "We kind of said a woman can't be on the throne, and that's why we got rid of Rhaenyra. It's not going to be a good look if we throw you up on the throne." When she was like,
"Yeah,
oh,
but I know this shit."
Yeah, I was like, that stuff I like. It doesn't have to be dragons, flying around battling all the time. Seeing pieces get put into place the way they are, and seeing things, decisions made earlier in the show come back and haunt a character, like, well, maybe you would be a good regent, but you know what? We can't do it because it's a bad look. The optics of it are going to look bad.
I think it was interesting seeing her get emotional about that, to be honest. Like, how dare you get emotional about that? And then, it doesn't make sense for you to be regent. It doesn't look good. You need to think with your brain. She just wanted to be, I think she just wanted to be in power, for now. She just enjoyed it when she did it with Viserys. And then if you think about it, like, the person that used to, she was showing her feet to for information said no, he's against her. And then the person she, gave up whatever to, he's against her too. I mean, that's when I can actually be like, okay, you're bitter. You're just bitter. Like, you sacrificed a lot just to be still known and seen as just a simple woman. Like, I can get why you're mad because it's true. She
laid the seeds. She planted the seeds that just didn't grow.
I legit forgot about the foot thing until you brought it up. Oh my god.
And I honestly thought too, I think what she's going to do now that Aegon is out of it and Aemond is the regent, she might bring Otto back. And I hope they do. Because she's going to think that Otto is going to be on her side. And he's going to think more like Aemon and Larys and everybody else and be like,
"That's supposed to be a man."
Yeah. Exactly. That's why we usurped. We are usurpers. He won't say that, but he's a usurper.
You had to get that word in there again.
I'm going to say it once.
It's what they did. And she knows. She knows now, especially now, because of the conversation with Rhaenyra. And she's like, "Nope, I'm sticking by my decision." It's what it is.
Well, Song of Ice and Fire. What are you talking about? He
I
said
really like
Aegon.
that she snuck in there and they talked, and she was like, "All right, you got to get out of here before they catch you." The Queen said that. I
Yeah.
like that. You know, they're still relating on a level, but then Rhaenyra gets back and she says, "Well, I had to know for sure, and yeah, let's go fuck them up." You know?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. That's dope, I think.
Even little things like Rhaenyra's conversation with the one guy she sent off. He's like, "Do you not trust my counsel?" That's not the case, but I need someone I trust. You have been, my bannerman for this time, and I need you to do this. I'm not kicking you off my small council. Little conversations like that where he's just not, "Yep, I'm going to go." It's like, well, what's going on? You see people starting to doubt where their standing is with people. You even saw it with the phrase when, not the phrase, but the Aaron, when she was like, "I was kind of expecting a more mature dragon."
Yeah.
Is that going to push her over to Team Green maybe a little bit down the line? Or once I saw the end scene, which I'm surprised it took us this long to jump to the end. Come on, people. When they were talking about, other Targaryen descendants, if they have some Targaryen blood, because we got 2 dragons without riders. Both of them are, comparable to Vhagar. So are we going to see one of those dragons kind of show up at the Eyrie and maybe help with that, bring them into line, because you got that mature dragon now, because we got a dragon rider. The pieces are being put into place, and it's not, I know I'm probably the only one here who doesn't mind, a My Dinner with Andre type episode where they just sit and talk and there's, tension and stuff. But I saw a lot of things. This was a table setting episode. If one of you MFers call it a filler episode, I'm coming across the Zoom.
Didn't call it that.
But they were setting
I
the
just said it
table.
was slower paced.
They were, setting the table for things to come down the line, especially now that more families are kind of joining into the story, because this has been almost a 2 family story, and now we're getting, we know Jason Lannister's doing things. We got the Freys getting into it. They want Harrenhal. We got the Blackwoods. We got the Brackens. We've got a lot of things starting to come into play here, and I thought they did a good job of setting things into motion where things stand now. It's not going to be where they stand a few episodes from now, and it's all because of what has always happened with any George R.R. Martin writing. You make a bad decision, you make a mistake, it costs you.
It costs. Whether now or later. Yeah. Yeah.
I watched a video that broke that down and said it's not just people who make bad decisions, but people who are too far in any direction, whether you're too noble and too good or too bad and too evil. Both extremes get punished in his books.
Yep, that's very true. And one thing I will say about Aemond, it's funny when Dave said, he was talking on Slack, and he said, Sierra said, "I'm going to like Aemond." One of the things I liked, and it was just a quick phrase, when he's like, "Okay, we're doing this," and cut down the rat catchers. That shows he has a much better sense of how to be a king. You shouldn't be vindictive. Leaving them up. And we know from conversations, at Dragonstone, that they're going to try to use the small people in King's Landing to their advantage. And we saw them send, I don't know if she even has a name, but like the maid or whatever, back into King's Landing. And she obviously has contacts to get her back in there to help rally the small folk, for Queen Rhaenyra.
Melisaria's contacts.
Yes.
Yeah.
The White Worm?
The White Worm, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting there.
I really like her character. I like that she's working with Rhaenyra and she's like giving her like, hey, there's, if you get the people, people, and she knows what it is. She's lived amongst the common folk. So that's a really good perspective to have right next to you at your hand, being like, hey, if you're gonna govern the people, maybe you should get the people on your team,
And Aegon was like this close. He almost understood that back when he was sitting on the throne and he was like, calling the people forward and what's going on. Yeah, of course, I totally understand. Yeah, I want to help you out. He was like, he almost understood it, and then he just went, hey, let's hang all the rat catchers.
Well, I mean, his son died, but yeah, no, I get you. I think.
Well, yeah, because he was given the he was giving the farmer back his sheep. You know that they
He
were
was
gonna feed
trying
the
to when he
dragon.
was advised not to.
And by the way,
Yeah, and it,
while we take
Otto
a
took
moment
that
to talk about, his son being killed, did Sierra send you guys that reel about what happened in the books in that scene, or she just
I
sent it
don't
to me?
don't remember.
I sent it to you. I think I sent it to my dad. I did send it to you, Doug. I think I
Okay.
sent you something.
Doug doesn't check
If you
his
did, I don't
messenger
remember.
as much, but I watched it. It was
Yeah.
funny. She sent it to me after I was asleep. I think I go to bed a little before she did, but I got up and I watched it in the morning, and it explained what happened in the books when the kid was killed.
Yeah.
And it was 10 times worse than what we
It
saw in
was
this series.
horrendous, is what it was.
I understand why they
was-
changed it, but
Yeah.
that would explain too a lot why Aegon flipped out, because they were showing him being a little more compassionate towards the people, and then
Yeah.
once his kid was killed, beheaded, he kind of lost his mind a little
Oh.
bit and really stopped caring about him, and that could be his downfall.
Yeah.
Well, you
And
even see,
but go ahead.
I was gonna say, even you saw early when they were dragging the dragon head through the thing, all of the people were like, "This is a bad omen. This isn't a good thing." They think they're parading around a huge victory, and all the people, and of course the White Worm understands that, and she's like, "Listen, the people are
Yeah.
starving. The people think seeing, that dragon being dragged through the city is a bad omen, and bad things are coming. There are other ways to fight wars." Which of course I found out Michael Bay saw that scene and he turned off his TV because he just wanted to see dragons fighting for 7 episodes and
Yeah.
bomb blasting. But she's right. You can fight wars in other ways than just with the dragons, because you don't want to. We've seen what dragon fighting can do. That battle at Rook's Rest was. Even Kristen Cole was like, "I was not ready for what happened." And he is a
Yeah.
seasoned knight. So I like that she's getting the counsel from the White Worm and hopefully a better understanding of how, you may not win every battle, but if you win, popularity with the small folk, that's going to go a long way to helping you win the war.
Yes.
Yeah, because then people are gonna end up being on her side. They're not gonna accept whoever, they're not gonna accept whoever they acclaim as king or queen or whatever. They're not gonna do that. They're like they haven't done us good at all. And they paraded they considered they were dragons are
The
like
dragon
gods.
head, yeah.
Yeah,
They
and
all
they're
seem
like-
pretty turned off by that.
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
this is not good. You guys haven't done anything for me yet, But when Viserys, Rhaenyra's direct father, she was the heir and everything. This was Viserys' decision. When Viserys was in line, there was peace, and who's to say that Rhaenyra wouldn't do the same? Because so far, the Greens have just starved us, and taken all of our money, and So of course, it's easier to sway them, So for Masari, I feel like Rhaenyra, she was a born royal, so she's like a medieval nepo baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so she is out of touch with, her influence on their influence, just overall on the small folk, on the poor people. So to have Massaria by her side telling her hey, this is a different perspective, and that I think that's really cool. Again, I think that's a good aspect to have. I think that was smart for Rhaenyra. She didn't even understand how smart of a decision that was to have Massaria as her hand, really. Because Massaria is thinking, well, the people. Even if Rhaenyra's not. Masaria's but the people, though, She could help her make really good decisions even going forward. But can we talk about the Silver Wing? The dragon, how they're trying to find new dragon riders.
Yes, it's a very.
No?
I wrote it down. It's Vermithor and Silverwing.
Yeah. So, are we excited about new Targaryens, new descendants?
Sure, yeah. I'd like to see what other families we're gonna finally see. Who's gonna pop up where, and I like the fact that we've already gotten to see a couple of the families that we eventually will, see down the line in Game of Thrones. So
Yeah.
It's always fun, you know. Maybe we'll get a Baratheon pop up.
I thought all Targaryens had white hair.
They do when they're pure blood.
No, they have black hair too. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, when they're pure blood, when
Yeah.
they are Targaryen and Targaryen getting it on, they have white hair. When it's not necessarily a Targaryen and a Targaryen, they can have other hair.
Yeah, like Rhaenyra's kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Rhaenys was technically, she's in the books, she has black hair with like silver streaks because her father is a Baratheon.
Oh,
So
okay.
I did not know that.
It wouldn't have been crazy for her to have black hair then, and also wouldn't have been crazy for Rhaenyra's kids to have black hair. But so yeah, Targaryens like Jon Snow, he has black hair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a Targaryen.
Yeah.
So when it comes to, I don't know, I feel like around there though, like the Valerians also have white hair. Yes, it's locked. That's just that's how they style it though. That doesn't necessarily mean that all Valerians are going to have locked hair.
Right.
You know, that there could be a lot more white-haired babies out there, and it's just normal. Unlike where Daenerys is in the timeline, it wouldn't be normal because Targaryens were killed off and, you know, whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, it was probably a little bit more normal. Especially, we do know that in the first season, Aegon has bastard children out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so he has a few of them, and actually, so yeah, it's not. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I'm excited to find out who's going to be writing these dragons because Silverwing is one of the, I think it's Caraxes, which is Daemon's dragon, and Silverwing are the only ones that can really, besides Meleys. Meleys could have went up, you know, you saw she went up against Vhagar.
Oh yeah.
But Caraxes, Silverwing, and Meleys were the only ones that could really take on Vhagar. So for someone to be riding, you know, Silverwing, that's crazy. That's like the, you know, I want to see whoever's going to be doing that.
I not only want to see
dragon.
I not only want to see who's riding it, I can't wait to see the look on Aemon's face when this dragon is back into play with a dragon rider.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild.
Is Aegon's dragon still alive?
No. I think Vhagar bit right through the neck.
No, that was Meleys. That was Rhaenys's.
Yeah, his was Sunfire. I don't think Sunfire is dead per se.
Because
No,
I mean, it crashed to the ground with them, but I don't know if it was dead or not.
It was breathing
I think
when
it
he was
was
laying next
damage.
to it. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it was messed up.
landed on Aegon.
What?
It landed.
Yeah, the killing of Rhaenys. Yeah, they said that Aegon did it to kind of promote him as this king that was successful. Yeah, that was the story they went with.
Yeah. And
I mean, but Aegon's dragon landed on it, right?
I think.
No, I don't think
Aegon's
the dragon
landed.
I think
Aegon's
he
dragon
just,
landed
just
with
landed with the
Aegon.
dragon.
And then Meleys landed on
with the dragon.
Rhaenys.
Yes, Meleys landed on Rhaenys. Yeah. God, the
Yes.
names in this stupid show.
It's hard to keep track.
They're so
don't know.
close. Rhaenys and Rhaenyra. I was like, can you give it a different letter or something?
Where's a Bill?
Well, then
Where's
it's
a
like
Frank? Come on.
50 Aegons. It's like, which Aegon?
Mhm.
This one. Oh, okay. The Conqueror or no, the King now.
Oh,
No,
the shit kid.
Shit kid, yeah.
Wait, Jon Snow wasn't born yet.
Yeah. He gets a new title, Aegon does in this, but you'll hear about that later. You know, probably the
Thank
next
you.
episode. Who knows?
That means he's still going to be alive. Thanks for the spoiler.
I mean, I feel like the show's leaning towards this right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think episode 5 let us know that Aegon was alive and probably going to live at least a little while longer.
So,
That'd be weird if he had an arc like Bronn. You know how Bronn was almost dead at second episode, and he lived to be king.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't have been king, but, you know.
I my
His
God,
name was
let's
Bran.
not talk about
Bronn was the sellsword who helped Tyrion.
Oh yeah. See, there's another name thing where they're so close.
Because I'm like, where is he going with
Bronn
this?
is
I'm like, oh wait, he's talking about Bran, the kid that got chucked out the window. And then
You know what character I remember I completely forgot about throughout Game of Thrones? And it was the other brother from the Starks, the one that was the other little brother.
Robb.
Yeah,
The one-
he shined and he
Not
was shot in
Robb.
the back.
The one that was traveling with Bran.
Yeah, he was shot in the back with an arrow by the guy who took over Winterfell.
Yeah.
He didn't
There's
last.
like for the longest time they were traveling together, and it's like I kept forgetting he existed.
I remember saying something to Sierra about it when it happened. I was like, "Wow, he didn't have much of a part." And you're like, "Who the hell are you talking about?" I'm like,
Yeah, I forgot about him. Yeah,
I can't even remember
forgot.
his name.
Yeah. But yeah, he didn't last long at all. He, never. But I'm excited. Like with this episode, it was a little, boring, but I also understand the fact that,
I like
they just
Keith's
to
way that
push
he
the
put it. They're
story
setting
along.
the table.
Yeah. No, and I appreciate that. I hate with the bear, for example.
Mm-hmm.
What they do in their shows just doesn't push the freaking plot forward right now. Like they used to, it was fine. But I'm sorry, Doug. I'll stop. I forgot you're not cut up. But there are just certain shows where they're too focused on the artistic aspect of the show, and instead of like the actual plot, and they're spending way too much time on like backstory, and they're not focusing on moving the plot. Sometimes that works where it's like, yeah, let's, you guys need this vital information, but there's a lot of shows nowadays where it's just a waste of time. There's no point to it. It doesn't add to the story or the character. But now in this one, I understand that it's dragging a little bit, but it makes sense. It makes sense. I'm not disappointed with it in any way.
You know what I think they should have done, and it might have made it even better?
What?
If instead of advancing the plot the way that they did and doing, the whole table setting with this, instead do a flashback back to like before season 1 and, kind of show us like what was going on with, the king and his sister and they're talking and hanging out and stuff. They would have just done that. I think
done a whole episode of a flashback?
An entire episode, hour long, of just a flashback.
Brilliant. That's excellent.
Just right in the middle of the season and kind of like, break up the flow of the episodes. I think that'd be a good idea. Give us a break from caring.
Nah.
He's joking. He's
I know.
referencing this Acolyte. See, but once again, with the table setting, it can still be interesting because, you see tension between, the Aries and what they got for their, housing the kids and whatever. And, the Freys wanting Harrenhal. And you got a lot of things coming into play. You saw, Doug was talking about Daemon who, I don't know if that witch, I think she's a witch, is doing this to him or if he's just kind of losing his mind because we know, sometimes when your bloodline is a straight line, it can cause, there was a mad king, coming up in their history. He's kind of losing it and him trying to gather his own army because he, much like a lot of people probably in the Seven Kingdoms, there has to be, a man on the throne and I should have had it. I should have been the king after my brother. He should have named me heir. So he's starting to get caught up into it and seeing him, when he said, I'm going to gather these armies, and I'm going to be king. I don't know if the guy, the Harrenhal guy, I can't remember his name, he just cracks me up because he's always like,
he does, yeah.
Oh, king consort. Well, why do you have to say that last part? And he he knows it bugs
dude.
Daemon, and he keeps doing it.
Yeah.
Like, this guy either wants to die, or he just cracks himself up. He just goes to bed giggling, like, oh, I can't believe I said that to him again.
Well, no, because his allegiance is with Rhaenyra. It is not with Daemon.
Yeah.
So For him to be like, hey, just so I'm your king consort, I'm doing this for Rhaenyra, not for you. Like, you're here because I support Rhaenyra. I think that's awesome.
Yep.
I think that's awesome. Stick with it, because Daemon, he used to be like, I respected that character a lot, but now it's just like, you're selfish, you're childish, and you're not what's best for the realm. I could tell you that.
I mean, his mistakes with, a son for a son early in the season cost Rhaenyra quite a bit, and then him with the Blackwoods and the Brackens and the River Lords are just up in arms and against what he did. I mean, he's making mistake after mistake, which is going to cost him armies and everything else. And probably after watching this episode and knowing in the episode before, his dream about he's going to die there or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Daemon does not make it out of this alive, which I don't think is a shock to anybody. But he's making too many mistakes, and he's too full of himself to. He's not a good Stark. He's not like a good Stark, who when they pledge your allegiance to you, they stand by it.
And he proves that pretty much everything they were saying about him in the first season is true. Like, he didn't love Rhaenyra. He acted like he did, but it just wasn't what it was.
He's just a hothead.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he's childish.
Absolutely.
I don't have a drink. Cold.
And you call your hold.
Stand by.
Like in Braveheart. Hold.
They'll never take away our freedom.
Whoa.
I'm going to be...
My computer just told me I have 478 performance issues. Oh, well.
Oh, that's it? Only 478? That's not bad.
Yeah, my computer said that, not my ex's. Heyo!
Gross.
What the hell are you drinking out of? Did you get that straight from the set of Game of Thrones?
Is that a Stanley?
No, it's not a Starbucks cup, Dave.
It is an off-brand
Okay.
Sunwill. We do not advertise for Sunwill, by the way.
Yes.
You just did.
It honestly though,
I want to show you something.
It's my favorite thing right now. This is literally my all-time favorite thing right now. I love my cup. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, a good cup will keep your.
You know what I got to say about that? Whatever.
No, I'll take it. Like, it holds my smoothie in the morning, and it's all perfect and nice. And it stays cold, dude. Yesterday at work, I got ice. I put ice in my cup early in the morning. It was around 9 at my work, because after I drink my smoothie, I fill it up with ice, and then I had that ice all day and all night, and it just recently melted because I took the top off.
Nice.
I didn't have to refill
product.
my ice.
You know what I got to say about that?
Whatever. That's his favorite thing right now.
I think it's all of our favorite thing right now. My kids are about to get another dose of it when we're done with this stream tonight. Hey, Dad, whatever.
Hey, man, you think maybe I could... Yeah, so whatever.
But, and the thing,
Here's the thing.
one of the things I like about this show, they are taking one book and making it 3 or 4 seasons. I don't know if we know how many it's going to be. So we do get a lot more detail in every little scene and, subtle nuances and things. Where with Game of Thrones, each book was just one season. And so they skipped a lot of the detail and merged characters and stuff. So I am digging the fact that we are getting... Oh, what is that?
The Song of Ice and Fire.
Blonde Ale. What does that say? What is the... I can't read the yellow.
Yeah, I remember when they were doing that.
Yeah.
What does it say in the gold label? I can't read the writing on it. You're going to have to turn it around and read it because the camera's not picking it up. Dude.
Iron Throne.
Ooh.
Blonde Ale.
Have you drank it? Is there
No.
still... No?
Are you cracking it open now, or are you saving it?
No, I'm saving it.
Okay.
What
Are
do
you
you
gonna
say?
save it for when we go to Supernatural? We should all go over to Doug's and have a swig of that.
Well, I was originally saving it for the series finale of Game of Thrones, but
Wait, so
No,
so,
we don't have
so, so why didn't you open it? I don't get it.
It was trash.
No.
You have no idea going into that it was gonna be so bad.
Well,
I
that whole
also
final
have what I
season.
wanted to. What I was gonna show you all is I actually have, like, when I tell you I was a big fan of Game of Thrones, like I was like obsessed. I had one of the mugs that they had made for on set. Ordered it, probably spent too much money on it.
Ooh.
One of those like horn mugs that was, oh my gosh, and it's beautifully crafted. It has the symbol of the Starks engraved on it.
Dude, I'm looking it up right now. I want one of them.
And I think I must have it
Yeah.
upstairs on my shelf or something, but I totally forgot that I had that. But yeah, that was like, so when I think it was like season 5 premiered, me and a couple of friends who all went over to one of their houses, and I had 3 of these bottles. I had the Iron Throne. I had another one that I had one for like for Daenerys, and that's the one that we cracked open for that. And we all had one of these mugs, and we were drinking out of which it's very awkward to drink out of those, by the way. They make it look easy on the show, but the way
It's
they're
not.
shaped, they're kind of curved. Not
Yeah.
that easy to drink out of, and they don't hold as much as you would think.
Okay, I don't remember. Was it fully curved or was it like that one?
It was like that one.
It's like that.
Yeah.
It was like that, yeah.
That's made from a tusk, isn't it? Or a
Yes.
bone?
Or
Yeah.
a horn.
Yeah.
Yeah, the horns. Yeah.
But yeah, I need to, like, find it and dust it off. Maybe I'll have my absolutely drink in
You
that.
just said absolutely. You
Yes,
just
I
You sure
did.
did.
That's why I said it with a pause.
You got pawed?
Pause.
Get it?
Yes.
Pause.
No, I don't get it, Dad.
Uh,
But
but yeah. So I was
mean,
going to show that off to you, but I don't know where I put it. So next time.
sweet. We're looking forward to it. And we're looking forward to this Sunday's episode. Because we only have 3 episodes left in this season. So it'll be interesting to see where we go. Because we got...
It's about to go down.
And we're going to... I don't think it's just going to be dragons. I think, we're probably going to get a new rider for Silverwing and Vermithor. And I think we're going to see some of those other types of waging war, with Rhaenyra and, White Worm. But I'm like, God, 3 episodes left. How much more can happen? Are we going to see, Daemon? Is this season going to end with Daemon's last stand? Are we going to see the end of this season be Daemon dying? And who will kill him? And if you know this, obviously I think you do know.
Don't
Sierra.
spoil.
I can't help but think, because we've seen Aemon like twice, I think, in his flashbacks. I think Aemon is the one who kills him. And what does that mean for Harrenhal? Are they going to lose Harrenhal to the Greens at some point? Just a lot of stuff, and then obviously, we got the Starks, the gray, what did they call them? Oh, they said it in
The Greybeards.
the Greybeards, yes. The Greybeards coming down, to help fight. How long is it going to take them to get down from the north? And obviously they need, the Freys to let them through, the river run and stuff. I'm just absolutely loving, I didn't mean to say that one, absolutely loving this season.
Again.
Because like I was talking about, one book over 4 seasons, you can get into a lot more of the subtleties of this than we got in Game of Thrones. And I hope it goes 5 seasons. I hope if this is going as well as Game of Thrones is, the showrunners don't have something else lined up. Like they don't have a boys spin-off for Prime Video that they're going to try to race off to and not end it well. Man, if they need 5 seasons to do it.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, if they need 5 seasons to tell the story right, take it.
Yeah.
That's the way.
What are you doing, Sarah?
I'm opening the blinds. It's dark in here. Sorry.
Dear sweet Jesus. We just got it up close and personal.
Sweet Jesus for me.
My predictions, right? Because I don't know everything, you know. I don't.
Sure.
I think that we're not going to see any real dragon war until the next season. I know they're going to do like 4 seasons in total of House of the Dragon. When I looked it up, I posted the link into the last, like, 2 lives ago of that prediction. So, yeah, I think we're probably going to see the war during season 3. I think they're dragging it out. And then I think after the war, it's going to be pretty much the aftermath. I don't know this. This is a prediction. Don't come at me. I don't know anything.
Get in the comments. Come after her.
I'm just saying.
No, and you know,
we made predictions on this show.
What you did send us says they were looking at 4 seasons, but I wonder as they're writing it out, if they feel like it needs to change, I hope they change it. I hope they don't rush. You know, please do not make the same mistake they made with Game of Thrones, because
I don't know, Keith. They might have a Star Wars to make.
They might. They might have. They might have the Acolyte.
They might have a Rebel Moon to make.
Yes.
Hurry up and get that moon money.
Let's get that moon money.
So bad.
I'm just hoping for the best here so far. It's winning my praises.
Oh, I am too.
It's working out. I'm loving it. Even the boring episodes, I'm still like, yeah, this is it. This is it.
I don't mean to even keep complaining, but like, look at the pacing of this episode and the overall structure of how they're relaying information to us. Leagues better than maybe a certain other show.
And see, I don't even call it boring. It is kind of slower paced, but there's still tension. There's still, intrigue.
Sure, yeah.
There's still stuff going on, and
with
above
this
everything
one,
else,
personally, I just wasn't on the edge of my
too.
seat.
Well,
Yeah.
no, and I wasn't on the edge of my seat either, but I was like, okay, what's that going to, how's that going to play out later down the line? And, it's still doing interesting things, and I trust this show to have that payoff down the line, stick the landing, unlike maybe something else that we recently watched.
Hey, Keith.
Yeah.
How does it feel to actually care about the characters and the decisions they're making?
It feels terrible. I really wish they were just people that were uninteresting. So, because I didn't get enough time to look at my phone during this episode. There was probably things going on that I missed because I was too intent watching, Valerian steel armor being peeled off Aegon while I was trying to enjoy my salad.
I think this show is very abusive. I think that I'm ready for some good things to happen to the good people of the show. That's what I think. I think I'm tired of all the abuse. I think I'm ready for Allison. I'm tired of Allison Hightower. She's pretty, whatever, but I'm over it. I don't like her.
Well, she got a little payback this episode, and it was good to see.
Yeah.
Her
a little bit.
Her uppity, we usurped him. I said it again. But it was the right thing to do because he was the prince who was promised, and even when she found out, I don't care anymore. We need a guy in the throne, and then I'll be the regent. You can't be. Sorry.
Like no.
You the dude who was holding my feet. No, you're not on my side. Kristen, you coming by later? You support? Oh, you're not supporting me either.
No, I'm literally terrified of the dragons. Absolutely not. I touched a dude and he fell apart.
Absolutely. No, she he's not even with her anymore. I think she just said, "Oh, so you're gonna cast me off?" He's like, "Well, yeah. Is this the person that you are, Allison?" As soon as she was like, "I didn't give you permission to speak my name," you knew it was over.
Yeah, that scene with them, the back and forth to them was fantastic. I enjoyed it. And yes, when she said, "I didn't give you permission to say my name," and like walked away, I was like, he knew it was coming too. He was like fine with it. You know, he knew as soon as he said it's got to be Amon, he knew it was over, and he was just waiting. Like, he was probably hoping for one more time, you know, one more evening tryst, but he knew it was over.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing that it's over either, to be honest. I mean, Kristen Cole could do better.
Well, he's working his way through the ranks, you know.
Yeah, who's next? Helena?
Yeah, Helena, that's the next one.
Oh, no.
Now,
That's wrong.
speaking of Helena, I saw a theory. This is not my theory. That Aegon's kids with Helena are actually Aemon's.
I would prefer that, to be honest. I feel like Aemon's better for her than Aegon is.
100%.
And he was even like, if it came down to it, I'd do what I have to do.
Yep.
They're both her brother.
Yes. But that's how Targaryens work, Doug.
Yeah.
Neither of them are good for her.
That's how they all
Well,
work.
no, but if we're going by their, you know, customs, then yeah, Aemon's better for her.
My
I mean, look at
liege,
the-
I noticed that your family tree is a circle.
I noticed your family tree is a stump. What's going on?
Was that intentional? Yes.
What bad things could happen with some inbreeding?
Let's ask the Lannisters. Hey, Jamie Lannister, how do you feel about that?
Wait, okay,
Who's
so do
Joffrey?
we know? Were you guys ever curious about who the Mad King was and who he's directly related to? Have you guys
Sure.
looked into it? I'm not going to
He's
talk about it because it spoils, but I was just curious if you looked into it.
I haven't, no.
I didn't want to spoil anything for myself yet. We obviously know he's Targaryen.
He's
That's
Targaryen.
all we know. Yeah.
Yes.
That's all I know.
I've not
Wait,
looked into
he's
it.
not a
because-
Tully?
he is.
I will say this isn't a spoiler, but I found out that Marjorie Tyrell is a descendant of Alicent Hightower.
I kind of figured that much.
Yeah, she's a great aunt.
Well, you know what? I like Marjorie, so just leave her alone.
No, she was conniving too.
Everyone
She had some
was.
great assets.
Did it in a nice way.
No.
She did it in a way that Natalie Dormer did it, and that was nice.
Also, you like Natalie. Just say you like Natalie Dormer. Just say that.
Nothing wrong with Natalie
She's a fine
Dormer.
actress.
was
She
in
did a
Captain
great job in the
America.
role.
Yeah, she was in Captain America. She did great in that role, too.
Yes.
No, she didn't. You're lying. It's not true.
She was in the Hunger Games.
No,
she was in the
she was
Hunger
terrible
Games?
in Hunger Games.
Yes, she was. Yep.
Yeah, she was in it for like 5 seconds.
Oh, did she get hungry and have to
Yeah,
tap
she
out?
got hungry and
She
she's
gave
like, I
half of
can't
her
do
head
this.
for that role.
I assume that's what the movie's about.
Yeah,
You know?
it's about being hungry, you know.
Thought so, yeah.
Soundtrack by Twisted Sister.
Oh, we're not gonna take it now.
No!
Well, Dad, me, Keith, and Doug could go on and on about this, but I know that in the past, like, couple episodes, you haven't been able to really have an opinion because you didn't catch up. But do you have any in-depth thoughts about season 2 so far?
I still, by the time he died, I liked Viserys. I thought I was actually liking a character. That was nice. But
Yeah.
I'm still not liking the characters, but I like their evolution. Kristen Cole, I ran into somebody at the store and we were talking about it. And they were just saying, "Oh, I hate Kristen Cole. He's just the son of a," and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything that bad yet. Until this last week, I thought, okay, that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Well, and too, just how, him with Rhaenyra, and he's like, I won't just be your toy or whatever. That's not what he said, but then he's okay with doing it with Allison. Like, he he's not a good dude. You know, in the
He's an
fact
opportunist.
he is an opportunist. Yes, he really enjoys being called the kingmaker. That his ego is stroked by that, and he loves every minute of it.
Hey, Dave, Sierra, can we make this like an ongoing thing for all episodes going forward of House of the Dragon, where we have like deep thoughts with Dave?
Deep thoughts with Dave.
Dave, what are your deep thoughts of Hot D?
Thought that I have.
And then
I'm
and
down.
then Keith, we can have a little sound button you'll play and be like, deep thoughts with Dave.
I'll do
I
some
mean-
of those.
Deep thoughts
All right.
with Dave. We'll do a deep dive with Dave.
But you know,
There,
what?
ooh, I like that even better. Deep
I-
dive with Dave.
I would like to hear Dave's rating not only on this episode, but what he thinks overall of the show so far, because we haven't.
Ooh,
You haven't been caught up and been giving ratings, so you got through it pretty quickly. Once you got past that, most of the characters are dislikable, but the situations they're in and stuff, make it
Yeah.
interesting. You kind of breeze through it. You kind of binge it a little bit. So what are your thoughts, on the show?
Deep
I
dive with Dave.
feel like Rhaenyra is the rightful queen. I'm on Rhaenyra's team. What team is that?
Team Black.
Black.
Okay, there's black and there's green. Is there any other?
No.
Nope. No, we
Okay.
don't have purple yet. Yeah, it's working
Okay.
on.
Well, I'm on her team. I like her plight, but Matt Smith's Damon, he's all over the place for me. I don't know whether I like the character or I don't, because sometimes he does some really cool shit, and sometimes he doesn't. And he's a wild card. So I like his character for that reason, because he is a wild card. I can't say I did like Aegon when he first became king, because he didn't want to be king, and he was very cool to his children until somebody killed one, and then
Why am I laughing at that?
then
That's-
things got
that's good
different.
stuff.
But see, I don't know when did this episode start, because I watched so many in a row. I don't know what to rate this particular episode. What happened in this one? Is this the one where Rhaenyra died?
Rhaenys
Rhaenys died.
died.
Yeah.
in
No,
the
that was the
last
previous
one.
episode.
That was a
Yeah.
big-
In this one, it's where they're carting the dragon head through the street and they're peeling the armor. Keith's favorite scene.
Yeah, my lunch scene.
Yeah, and the town is like, whoa, that's a dragon. That's
We thought
aren't
they were
supposed
gods.
to be-
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. He said, I thought they were gods, and instead of getting everybody to cheer, they're all like,
Kind of grossed out by like.
they were like,
Bad.
whatever.
Whatever. Like, we gotta leave, but whatever. Wait, I
It's
forgot
like
there
they're
was.
saying,
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
this is the head of Leslye. Yeah, whatever. So it would. So for this episode, yeah, it's definitely way above average. We were talking average for the last show, and it couldn't even meet that bar. I'm sticking. I'm going to give this episode a 7.5, and for the
Okay.
series so far, I'm going to give it an 8. The whole series so far, I really enjoy it. A lot more than I thought it would. It took me forever to watch, but you know what? It's paying off.
See,
Who's next?
I said it to your face.
You did. All right.
I did. I
You
told
should
you.
have taken that
I'm
chance to
gonna
say
shut-
whatever.
And I was just saying, whatever.
No, there is one part of the show that I forgot I wanted to touch on, which was the Corlys and Bayless scene, where she's
Where she guilts him.
I don't think she guilts them. She's just like, hey, get your crap together and realize, stop being selfish. She's like, I don't even want Driftmark. Give that to somebody else. Give that to the person you cheated on my grandmother with. That's basically what she said.
It was. And that was a
Yeah.
great scene too. I mean, sometimes characters need to get that shove, and when it's pulled off like that and executed well, man, it just makes for a wonderful scene.
Yeah, I liked her. I've been liking her character a lot more this season, as she's grown up, I think she's awesome. I think she's an exciting character, and like for her to do that with Corliss and be like, just take the position or go to the Greens. We don't need you. I guess they'd be happy to have you if you want to, be a what a word I can't say.
Ungrateful.
Is it a British? Is it a British word that Butcher likes to use?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be a blank about it. Like, just do it. Stop being selfish. And then I liked how she put it where she was like, Rhaenys wasn't something that was just taken from you. She was our Targaryen princess. It's more than that. It's a lot more than that. She was taken from everyone. It wasn't just your house. Like, how ignorant of you to say that. Like, she could ask, well, what did he say? He said, oh, as if she could ask more of my house or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I was happy Bela was like, no. And then I think it's cool seeing Bela. I think she genuinely looks up to Rhaenyra. Like, that's her homie. She likes her. I think that's cool. They're a cool dynamic too.
Yeah.
She might be my favorite character.
Bela, yeah, she's awesome. I think she's awesome. I like Jace and Bela together. I actually want to see their babies. I feel like that would be cute. It's gross that they're cousins, but
At least they're less related than others.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I mean, speaking of relations, how did you feel about the Daemon scene with his mother?
Mom?
Yeah.
Once again, I usually watch this so while I'm eating lunch. I'm going to weigh myself tomorrow. I may have lost 5 or 6 pounds thanks to the boys in House of the Dragon.
That was gross.
Yes, it was.
That was. And at first, I'm like, who is this Targaryen woman? Like, who is this cousin or something? And then when she said you should have been born first, I was like, oh.
Yeah, she's like, you're my favorite son or whatever, and I'm like, oh, this is just showing where his mind is at. He really is just absolutely. Oops, didn't mean to say that again. Sorry.
He has mommy issues.
Feels that he is the only choice and the best choice to sit on the Iron Throne. And you see it coming out through his psychotic episodes in this show. And they do such a good job. They don't overdo it. And like Doug said, I love, he's like in this weird thing, and all of a sudden he's like at dinner with a bunch of people, and he's like confused, like, what's going on?
I like that he just kind of goes with it. He's not even freaking out. He's just like, okay, all right. And no, but either way, I don't think that it's the I don't think it's the witch woman messing with him. I think it's the curse of Harrenhal messing.
Okay, I go back and forth on that sometimes, because she like gave him something to drink when he had an episode at one point, and I was like, okay, she's doing it, but then they do talk a lot how
it's got shrooms in it.
Yeah, how Harrenhal is haunted and stuff, and so it'll be. I want to see how it plays out and what we see in this. It'll be good.
Yeah.
But do you want to rate this episode, Miss Sierra?
This episode specifically, I give about a 7. Only because it's only pushing the series along, and it's only pushing the plot along. It wasn't up here like, oh my god, interesting, influential, but it wasn't like bad or anything by any means at all. It wasn't bad. It just was, it wasn't climactic. It was anticlimactic for me. So about a 7. Solid. 7.
And after last week's episode, you knew you were going to have a rough go with this, but I loved all of the things that we got in this. We got Daemon with his visions and his psychosis or whatever it is going on, making the mistakes with the Blackwoods and the Brackens, and having the River Lords kind of turn against him. We saw the Jen Arryn being like, I wanted a more mature dragon and stuff for protection, not these two that we got. We saw Jace going to the Freys and offering him Harrenhal. So much of that going on, where it was a slower pace. It was a table-setting episode. But we see these things falling into place, and I always appreciate that stuff. And this show has definitely been above average, way above average with all of this. And while this wasn't as good as, as exciting, as edge of your seat as last week's episodes, it was still really good. Great acting, great dialogue, things that are going to be, important in later episodes, if not this season, but, next season possibly too. So I'm going to give it a 7.8. I really, as soon as I was done, I was kind of like, I want to watch it again. I think I missed some stuff, and I didn't get a chance to watch it again. But man, I dug this episode. It did a good job of setting things up for later on.
That's a good lead-in to have Doug speak, because you dug this episode.
Yes.
Oh, did I dug this episode?
No, I dug it. I dug it.
Find out. Let's find out, Doug. Did you dug this episode?
I dug this episode.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty okay. I'm pretty much in the same boat as Sierra and Dave. It was good. I liked the it is nice to have character development and world building that I actually care about. Where there's purpose behind every motivation, everything that everyone is doing. I like that there's the constant politics that are being played in the Game of Thrones. It's almost like it's turned up to 11 here, because instead of people figuring out, oh, I need to play politics, everybody is like always playing politics all the time with each other. Even people on the same side, they're playing against each other. And I kind of like the backstabbing that's going on. I like how some people feel that they have the right to rule, like both Alicent and Daemon. I like how they both have it in their heads that, oh yeah, we should be the one sitting on the throne, and everyone is kind of saying, no, it's not you though, for different reasons. One of the other things we didn't really touch on was the fact that also, as part of like Daemon's like whole ego about thinking that he needs to be in charge and be the ruler, they're telling him, hey, if you're going to be here like the Lord of Harrenhal, I'll fix the roof and a few other things. And he's like, yeah, you know what? You're right. This place is a dump. I'll fix it. Okay, cool. So should we send the bill to, the Queen? No, it'll come out of my pocket. Just once again, be like I'm the king. I'll use my own money on this. And then in the background, we've got people who are like plotting to give Harrenhal away.
Well, and I like too that he was willing to get his hands dirty, like chopping wood and stuff to help.
Apparently he didn't know how to cut wood, but yes, he was willing to get his hands dirty. I like that the witch lady. That's the other thing that I liked about this episode, is how many people are willing to just like talk plainly to people who are normally in positions of power. The witch lady gives zero shits. She's just like, hey, dude, you can't cut wood. Have you ever? Let me see your hands. Yeah, you suck at this.
Yeah. She's like, no, seriously, you shouldn't do this.
Right. But yeah, it was. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, you might be good with a sword, but definitely not an axe, dude. No.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty okay episode. I was not on the edge of my seat, and it is. I know it's not fair to compare it to last week's episode, but just the way that these are, structured, the way they're going together, I kind of am. But I'm not going to be like mean to it. It wasn't as exciting as last week's episode, but it was still good, and I still enjoyed the parts that I enjoyed. So I'm going to rate this a 7.
Okay, 7s.
Yeah.
That's the lowest out of all of us.
Yeah.
No, I got a 7 too.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
solid 7.
So Sierra and Doug at 7, Dave at a 7.5, and me at a 7.8.
Mm-hmm.
That's unusual.
On average, 7.
I was like, whatever.
Whatever.
Well, speaking of whatever, I got some bad news to share.
Oh no.
The Halo series on Paramount Plus was canceled.
Whatever.
Exactly.
They already have movies and stuff. Like, I think they're okay.
That was still airing?
Yeah. I did make it through the entire first season, and then you guys know me. I don't usually give up on stuff unless it is really bad. and I've never watched an episode of season 2. I was like, after I watched the end of season 1, I'm like, why did I keep watching this? There's no reason. And season 2 came out, and Paramount Plus was like, hey, watch us. And I'm like, delete from my watch next thing. Get it out of here. I don't want to see it. So
I challenge you to watch The Bear. That's what I do. I challenge.
I do plan on watching it.
Speaking of Paramount, did you all hear the news surrounding them?
Aren't they merging with somebody?
Yes, they're in talks to merge with Skydance. You know what Skydance helped make?
Rebel Moon.
Terminator. Well, the like Terminator 3 or 4, one of those ones. Yeah.
Not one of the good ones.
No, not one of the good ones. And when you have a chance, look this up. Check out Paramount's new logo to go along with the merger. It's a choice.
It's a choice. Love to hear that.
Yeah. I don't know if it's because cursive is too hard to read or what.
What do you mean? I don't see anything wrong. What's going on?
You don't see the just all caps yelling at you with the curve underneath?
No. Paramount.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't a fan of it. I didn't like that the change. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it.
No, it's not Paramount, dude. It's not even. The other ones aren't even cursive.
Yeah, the original Paramount is.
It's hardly cursive. It just looks pretty.
I like it better.
What movies has Skydance done? Skydance. Oh, they do the Jack Ryan movies.
Oh, the ones with what's his name?
Did you guys know
Chris Pine.
that? Sorry.
Go ahead.
I got excited. Did you guys know that Touchstone is a Disney company and that they created the movie Dead Poet Society and Splash?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think you told me about this. Yeah.
Paul's laughing.
Looks like the Mission Impossible movies are by Skydance, along with Jack Reacher.
Wait, the Jack Reacher movies or the Jack Reacher television show?
Movies.
Gross.
Yeah, gross. The show's pretty good.
I haven't seen any Mission Impossible movies. I have a strict no Tom Cruise movie watching. The Jack Ryan show was better than the movies. The John Krasinski.
It wasn't.
Wait,
yeah, those both
Jack Ryan or Jack Reacher?
Jack Ryan.
I did not see a Jack Ryan show. But I did see the Reacher show. That was good.
Yeah, the Reacher show and the Jack Ryan show are both on Amazon.
Yep.
They're both on Amazon? No kidding. Wow, what are the odds?
2-1.
What was the other bit of news? So there was the Paramount thing. Keith told me about the Alien movie that I was not tracking at all. I didn't even realize that they were making a new Alien movie.
Whatever.
Oh yeah, no, they're retconning
Prometheus?
what was it? They're doing a completely different thing, I guess. Paul, come here.
Wait, doing a completely different thing for Alien?
Yeah, Paul has the insights. He has the inside scoop.
Based off what I've read, which is a good way to kind of set it up with it. What they're doing is, sorry, what they're doing is, since the xenomorphs, no one knows where the xenomorphs came from. They just kind of like just entity that lives in space. So they're playing on, it looks like from what I've seen, they're playing on how this is just another random group of humans that just stumble across aliens like on another planet somewhere in the world, in the galaxy.
I don't think it's a planet. I think it's like a space station, a Romulus.
Oh, space station, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like playing on the whole, like, hey, this is another group similar to the Nostromo from the first Aliens, where it's just they just so happen to stumble across this, and that's cool. I think that's a good way to.
Am I misremembering, or was there a retcon at some point? I thought in Aliens versus Predators that the Predators implied that they created the aliens, the xenomorphs, in order to practice hunting.
Yeah, exactly.
That's your issue. You think anything on Alien versus Predator was...
I mean, greatest movie ever.
That's cooler than whatever they had going on with the body mutilation stuff. I think the Predators is more cool.
I thought it was kind of a cool bomb drop. I remember watching that several years ago, and the Predator was like, "Oh yeah, no, we made them just to hunt. They just kind of got out of control."
I even made a special trip down to Antarctica to see where they were and everything. I wanted to see the underground pyramids.
Right. I forgot about that.
Now
they're gonna retcon that.
I was saving this little tidbit for the stream when Doug let me know when I asked if we should see Alien Romulus at the theater. Did you guys know there's an Alien TV show coming out too?
Oh.
That just wrapped filming?
Interesting.
No. Alien Earth, I think is what it's going to be called.
Who is coming up with these names?
Well, this is the guy who did Legion too, who's doing this show.
Okay.
So I am hoping, well, two things. I hope Aubrey Plaza's in it, and I hope it's good, because sometimes these franchises get a little out of control. They have something that was great, and then we get Alien versus Predator and Alien versus Predator Requiem.
Best movie ever.
But I hope this is bringing back the franchise to a good place. Like the trailer we got for Romulus looks pretty good. But once again, we have been fooled by trailers before. But it looks like they're kind of going back to the first couple movies and how it was playing out. So high hopes for that. Let's hope it plays out.
Hey, in other news, do you know what film just finished shooting in Cleveland?
What?
Your mother?
Superman.
Oh, that's nice.
Another Superman?
It just finished filming in Cleveland, but you know where it's filming now?
Where?
Cincinnati.
No.
The Natty.
Ew. They're still in Ohio.
Do you know why they're filming in Cincinnati?
Why?
Because they don't like the Browns.
No. Because the building that was looks like the Hall of Justice is in Cincinnati. I can't remember what it's called. So everyone's like, yeah, of course they're filming there because we're going to get the Hall of Justice in the Superman movie. Because why else would you film in Cincinnati?
Look that up. I didn't know it was based on a real building.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's hope that it's actually good this time.
I hope so.
Well, it's James Gunn, so how can it be bad?
It's got a much better chance of being good.
Let's hope that, Lois Lane doesn't scream out Clark Kent in front of a lot of people in New York City, or Metropolis, while he's being Superman.
Well, let's hope that Clark, as a young man, learns the meaning of protecting his identity over saving people's lives, as all Supermen should be.
Let me just say something before Dave says it. Let's hope that Lex is written as well as he was in Smallville.
You took it from him.
He was a perfect Lex Luthor. You can't tell me otherwise.
No, I agree. Michael Rosenbaum's Lex was my favorite part of that show. I enjoyed Smallville. It was a good show. But Michael Rosenbaum's Lex was the best part of it. He was a very complex character, very well thought out, just really good. And if Nicholas Holt's Lex is as good as Michael Rosenbaum, I'm going to enjoy this movie.
I can't see that being the case. But
as long as he doesn't put a Jolly Rancher in someone else's mouth, we got good stuff.
So what you're saying is, hold on, I got to make a note. Bring Cherry Jolly Rancher to our at the theater review of Superman to put in Dave. Oh, we should do that right before.
Save it for Dave.
Dave, here, just take it. When he.
All right, guys, I do gotta get going. I got food. Paul was cooking, and I'm excited.
Yeah. All right.
Well, thank you.
We should probably look for someone to raid anyway.
Yes. Well, I was gonna say, hopefully you can join us again.
Oh yeah, I'll be here. But I do have a person to raid. if you, need
Do
it.
it.
It's
Speak.
called IYCOMMIT.
IYCOMMIT.
Yes,
Acolyte.
I commit.
We appreciate you coming on. We hope to see you again for the next discussion of House of the Dragon. Thanks everybody for out there. Thanks for all the people in the chat. We will be back Sunday night. Talk a little The Boys season finale, and we'll be back not next Thursday to talk House of the Dragon, but maybe the next Sunday, because we will be at Deadpool and Wolverine for the At the Theater premiere.
Yeah.
But please don't forget, if you're watching us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, leave comments, do all the things that really help our channel out. If you're out there on Twitch, don't forget to follow us. If you got it, subscribe to us. We would appreciate it. We know that actually costs money, so if you can't afford it, we appreciate you just coming into our stream. So we're gonna raid I commit. Oh, I did a invalid username.
You just
So
spell it wrong.
Let's see, IY.
If it's not I, it could be an L.
Okay, let's go LYCOMMIT.
Yeah.
Ooh, their raid settings do not allow you to raid at this time.
Oh no! I'm so sorry.
Oh no.
Oh,
Well,
dear
how
me.
about MTG Nerd Girl?
Oh, Magic the Gathering Nerd Girl?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's
Oh,
do it.
MTG. I was getting worried there. You guys know who MTG is?
Magic the Gathering?
No, Marjorie.
Shh. Do not speak that name.
Oh, are you talking fire?
Verboten.
Are you talking Firecracker?
Yes, Firecracker.
All right, guys. Thank you for having me.
All righty.
Thank you for being a part. We
Thank you,
appreciate
yeah.
it.
No
See you
problem.
in a
I
couple
will
weeks.
see you on the next episodes.
Well, you might be here for that next episode, by the way.
2 weeks from now. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Cool.
all right.
Peace out.
Bye.
It won't let me leave. There we go.
Get out of here, you crazy.
Whatever.
Yeah, she'll be in town here in a couple of weeks.
Oh, nice. That'll be good.
Nice.
Okay, so let's get the raid going. Once again, thanks everybody for coming out. We're going to play the outro now.
Hey fellow nerds, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of this stuff, make sure that you check out our Twitch stream. We try to do these live Sunday or Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Keep an eye on our social media to find out when you can join in live and chat with us during these live streams. Also, as usual, don't forget to check out our other social media. Add us at Twitter, comment down below, and we'll see you next time right here on Not Your Status Quo.